Well, hello, everybody. I know I only missed one night, but it feels like I've missed a lifetime. There have been so much that happened. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. So without further ado, let's get started. Well, welcome everybody. So yesterday I worked at the tennis and I'm what's called turnover, but there was only one match. So there was no turnover. So I had to spend 4 hours walking around a big arena that holds about 7,000 to 8,000 people at a time. And there's 20 doors, just so to put things in perspective. And I had to just keep walking around and cleaning. I did 8 laps in 4 hours, 15,000 steps. I got home, woke up this morning and felt dreadful. Got up, took some Panadol, didn't feel any better, and I just went, you know what, I'm just going to spend the day in bed. Called in sick at 8:30 this morning, sent an email, phoned up, and then at 20 to 5 this afternoon, I got a phone call from the supervisor asking me where I was, which wasn't very impressed about that. So anyway, I'm back at work tomorrow, so I'm all well rested. Well, I had a little link dropped into one of my inboxes today, and this is what we're going to look at, a video that is KJ KJ and unirock. KJ's speaking to unirock on a live, and she's talking about the case, and she's talking about saltzy, and she talks about Emily, and she talks about Creepshow and Nick Snyder and Dustin Daly and all the people that she apologized to. So I think this is before she actually apologized. But there are some things in this live stream that are just horrifying. So it's horrifying. So I thought we should look at it together and we can see how we all go together. Hello, Chuckadee. So because it's quite, I actually heard the start and I heard the end of it. I couldn't bear the middle of it, so it's interesting. And it's very interesting considering how unirock has changed his tune. He may also have some explaining to do about some of the comments that he makes as well. But this is all, The other thing is, I'm interested if anyone watched the live today. If anyone watched the live. Did anyone? Because it was bizarre. It was bizarre. That's this. And she went on a rant about the roloffs and then started having a go about Christianity. And I've come to the conclusion that she doesn't like Christians. She hates them. And I think she just doesn't understand the fact that Christians believe in Jesus. The stuff from the Old Testament, the blood sacrifice and the animals and all of those rituals all disappeared when Jesus came along. And I don't think she gets that. And unfortunately, she's spewing a whole lot of misinformation, particularly about Christianity. And I tell you what, it's a wonder the people in Melbourne didn't hear me yelling at her today, because I was yelling. And, I understand that she's not a Christian, but she shouldn't be trying to, just don't start spouting off the Bible and start, and start misquoting the Bible, because it's just offensive, and there was a lot of that. So Terry D says she's an atheist. Yes, I'm atheist about being one. Yes, she did. She makes atheists look bad, says Maz. Well, she did also state, because she's also having a go at the roloffs about the fact that they talk about working on their marriage and talking about trying to help one another. And she said all that they talk about is religion and politics. So Claire says KJ hates anyone with a heartbeat. Well, that might be true too. So, it's just a very... I really dislike when she goes on those religious blah blah rants. It's so inappropriate and nasty. Yes, and apparently, we're all Trump supporters. Just so that you know, like she likes to grab everybody in a group and put them in. So everyone's Trump supporters. Hello, Jennifer. How are you? Should be asleep. So, yes, so the roloffs and everybody that have that form of Christianity apparently are all Trump supporters. So, and how dare the roloffs talk about having to talk through problems, because she was also very critical about the fact that, about the fact that they're considerate to each other. But we know that they have an interest in marriage. So her and Toad, and of course, don't forget that their heater was their furnace broke, and it was interesting because somebody on, I think it was it her Twitter or Instagram, had said that they had junk in, like there was dirt in their furnace, whatever, and that's ended up what was happening, and they couldn't go to a hotel because she'd have to leave the animals behind or something. It was really bizarre. Claire says, I think KJ and Toad should be ashamed of themselves for not going to a hotel on Friday night with no heat. She said it was because they'd have to leave the animals behind, but the animals would have been okay for one night. But it's interesting because she always talks about how Frida can't be left alone with her, but there was a picture of Frida sitting with Todd. So you just get to a point where you just don't know what to believe anymore. And also it looks like that if they'd had their annual maintenance, if they'd all had their maintenance, then that wouldn't be a problem either. So, right. You are all on live chat and not on highlights. Is that correct? Yeah. Hi, just me, Minnie. Well, I don't know why they didn't have backup heaters, because I don't know why you wouldn't have a backup heater just for that. I mean, I have ducted heating in my house, but I haven't chucked out the heaters that I had in my previous house. They're in the garage, so they can be pulled out if at all needed. So, but I don't have anyone medically fragile either. For me, it's common sense. You always have a backup. Swim 2 says, well, I actually wondered whether she was going to ask for money to get it fixed. Gail. Hey, Harmony. I swear KJ follows the saying, I'm not lying, I'm not telling the truth. Yeah. Their dogs could have been brought to the hotel and cats could have been left alone for the night. $65 is all it would have cost them. But they live in a small country town. That was the other thing. I've seen some videos. I think Crystal Bill did a video today where that was debunked about because she showed her going through some photos in the basement, and then she told some stories about growing up, and then compared it to another video, and even those stories are like, hello Kim, how are you? So she had no gas to turn on oven. At least that would have helped. Yeah. I was waiting for the boo-hoos. Yeah, well, I was too. I was, All right. So let's have a look at this video. So this is from November. Well, that's right. That could have gone 45 minutes away. I mean, if it's an emergency, it's an emergency. 16 hours ridiculous, careless in the dead of winter, always lived there. I question their IQ. Crazy leaving the gas on all night, idiots, says Gail. Oops. Yep. The buddy heater is about 120 at Walmart. Okay. There are only 10 in my town. We have 4 hotels, so whatever. I've seen towns with hundreds of people. Yes. Or what about these neighbours of hers? Couldn't she have gone there? No, she didn't go to a hotel. She didn't. The furnace broke up. She put photos on. Apparently she did a live. I missed it, but she was doing a live in the dark in her home with no heat. You always do, particularly if it was medically fragile. I would have thought she would have had a heater, at least for him. At least for him. But anyway. I don't know, yeah. I mean, I don't know if the oven was gas as well, or whether it's just the heat or whatever, but, Sammy J says her neighbour's good one, Joe. Yeah. Well, I mean, her neighbours. Well, actually, in the video that I think it was Crystal Bill showed, she talked about how living in a small town, or was it today? I don't know. I've watched so much today. I might have been in one of the todays where she talked about living in a small town that you can borrow anything and everybody. Like you could go ask for a ladder. So she could have gone to a neighbour's house for a heater. She said she has to have the temp at regular settings, so back up. Yeah, true. But and have people who take us in during the heat waves. Yes, that's right. That's right. They could have gassed themselves. Yes. Okay. So just wanted to show you something. This is an article I read. So this is as you know, Western Australia is now out of lockdown. They've only had the one case, which was really good. But one of the downsides of having lockdown is, what do you do with the people that don't have a house, that don't have anywhere to live? And this is a story that's come out of Perth, out of WA. And it says Vivian Porter of Perth is facing a huge fine for sleeping outside during Perth's lockdown. She had nowhere to go. What is she to do? And so the Perth Council has threatened her with a $5,000 fine for leaving her few belongings in the public park where she was sleeping. She's been sleeping with a group of Indigenous people for about a year, and she'd just been released from hospital and treated for chronic health conditions when Perth went into lockdown. She had nowhere to go, so she wandered the streets and then went back to find that they had actually chucked out all of her stuff, and she faced fines for illegally dumping. So the crisis shelters said that they had nowhere to go. They're full. So Shelter WA estimates that around 1,000 people are sleeping in the streets across WA every day, and there are more than 15,700 households on the waiting list for housing. Now, New South Wales and Victoria did something that was very interesting during their lockdown, is that they put the homeless up in motels. So so it says in New South Wales, at the height of COVID, enabled homeless people to stay in hotels around the city so that the shelters wouldn't be overcrowded. The same happened in Victoria. So the WA government chose to hand out PPE to all the homeless and to make sure that they had access to food. So one of the biggest things that we have, one of our biggest crises that we have in Australia is homelessness. So but I mean, this for me was just really, really sad that somebody could be paid $5,000 for having their items for having items on the street. So it says that the crisis is growing and expected to continue as we deal with the post-pandemic recession and as the JobKeeper and everything starts to run out. The WA government had changed the rules though, because last year people like Miss Porter, who found themselves in situations where they could not pay large fines, were able to be sent to jail. The WA government abolished the law in 2020 following a recommendation from the coroner of another lady who died in custody after being locked up to pay fines. So that is a situation that's come out of Perth. And with the bushfires, there's going to be more people needing housing. I just thought it was a very interesting article. I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, but homeless people have nowhere to go. What happens to them during lockdown when all the shelters are full? As I said, where I live, the government actually rented out hotels and would put them up in there for a period of time. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Something to like so silly giving out fines like that. I thought I saw somewhere. I haven't found the other, but that the WA government was looking at putting some more money into housing again. Yeah, in Indianapolis, where I am, the homeless are put into hotels in the business district. Yes, yep. So that's what happened with ours too. If they couldn't get into a shelter, then they could get into. We have many homeless in our area. It's disgusting. We have many food shelters. Yep. The other thing that the government did was that they've actually banned evictions for non-payment of rent. So a landlord cannot evict somebody who cannot pay rent. What the government has done is that the landlords can apply to the government and they will pay $3,000 of the outstanding rent. Or if you need to go to a landlord and you come up with a payment arrangement, the government will pay $3,000 towards your rent in order to stop people from being kicked out, because they don't want people out on the streets. So it was just something that I thought was a very interesting article. Yeah, that's right. You're right. It's horrible that there are homeless. So I know a lot of landlords have kicked up where I live about the fact they can't evict people, but I think it sort of has to be done because with the pandemic, and I know that law was extended until March this year. So yeah. So that's just something very interesting. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that now that has happened. Hello, Lena. Yes, in USA there is an ancestral government which has no. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Some people have been getting evicted since in Tennessee alone. We have wow. Well, that's bad harmony. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So, as I said, that I think the homeless and the lower end of society are the ones that are really getting punished. Will no keeper arrangements stay till March? JobKeeper is due to finish in March. I think JobKeeper finishes in March, and that's when and so does the top-up payment for the COVID payments. That I think March is the end date for all of that, and that's when we're going to see the real struggle after that. But I have a feeling the Victorian government will extend the no eviction beyond that as well. So very interesting. Anyway, yeah, finishes in March. Yeah. I'm in two minds about JobKeeper because I've had so many stories of businesses rorting the system, and the people are suffering are the workers, and because they've just got to stop it being rorted. Yes. So, but the governments either have to provide more social housing, low-cost housing, fund the shelters to do the job. I mean, if the government doesn't want to deal with it, then increase the money for the shelters, and then or increase the unemployment or the minimum wage so that people can afford to live. That's but governments like to pass the buck, so All right, so let's have a look at this. Hey Gail, I'll need someone to support me when I run for Prime Minister. I keep joking about if I was Prime Minister, this is what I'd do. It's quite simple. But yeah. Hi Solo 7. All right, this just gonna speed this up. I've been on so do I, Gail. The problem is I would bore everybody to death if I started. About €10 per hour. Okay. I heard Bill Gates say on the pandemic, people of colour and lower class in our society are losing their lives to COVID. Yes. Yep. Kieran, that is correct. The lowest people in society. And because we have large Indigenous communities in pockets of the country, particularly up north, part of the response has been to try and make sure it doesn't get into those communities, because if it gets into those communities, it would spread and it could nearly wipe them all out. So a lot of the decisions has been made to try and protect the Indigenous communities. Yes, please. Ring my bell. Ring my bell. Just wanted to tell you I had so much fun Friday night, and I'm sorry the video took days and days and days to fix up, because apparently the video is not getting monetized. I can't be monetized anyway, so that didn't matter. But there were about 3 or 4 songs apparently that you can't even show a snippet of, that they're total ban, which I thought was a bit strange. But no, I had no problem with it not being monetized, because money needs to go to the copyright owners. I have no problem with that. It's just I'm not monetized, so I'm not making money off it. But if I was somebody else, I wouldn't have made the video because there was no money to be made from it. Yeah. All right. Because I know somebody asked about, was she going to cover the Manson stuff? And she said no, because it wouldn't, something about analytics. So essentially she's saying she's not going to cover anything she's not going to make money from. Okay. And I read that one of the vaccines has not been effective against the South African version of the virus. I was reading that too. I was doing lots of reading today because I essentially stayed in bed when I wasn't sleeping. I was reading. So I thought I would do intelligent reading today, not just KJ Twitter. I wanted to do some intelligent reading today. So I did that. Okay. let's have a look at this video that we're all here for. So this is being put on here. So this is from November 2020. KJ talks to uni about the Tuddy lawsuit, the 8th of November. Yes, intelligent reading. Yes. Can you see that the brain's a little bit bigger? Yeah. I believe that WA, they had some rain, and so the fires are now under control now, which is really good news. Does Saltzy have this? I don't know, but I reckon he will do. Now, if you can remember right back, before we start, if you can remember right back when KJ was talking about lawyer behavior, and how he was going against the code of conduct and everything. So this all fits around that, because what she talks about to unirock on here is about Saltzy breaking the lawyer code of conduct, and she even talks about criminal charges against him in this, which is totally and utterly which I run, and we know now that the judge has said that he can actually talk on Twitter about, to get information about the case. So everything she says here is actually incorrect. But so we've got to take our minds back to November. I mean, there's been so much that's happened since the case was filed. KJ said it's much harder. He said so much. That's right, Solo 7. It is very hard. It is very hard. So you got to try and remember back that far. But if you remember, she had a Twitter rant about Saltzy, and threatened to report him to the lawyers board. Well, this is a conversation about that, because she mentions it again. And don't forget, Saltzy did have there was a fake complaint made. Anyway, let's have a listen.
Slick criminal. Oh, shit, son, you did it, baby, you did it. Katie. Is that Katie Joy Paul's on my live stream?
I'm just gonna go.
Is that Katie Joy Paul's on my live stream? You're lying to me. I've got Katie Joy on my live stream. Sorry, go ahead, Katie. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I'm so happy to host you. Amazing.
I love you guys.
We love you too. Let me see here. Let me get your volume set. All right. Katie, you just announced that you are throwing massive waves in the tsunami.
Yes.
Oh, give me the scoop. Let me get one scoop. Can I have a scoop, please? A double
Yes.
scoop.
See how ecstatic he was that she was in. Look at, he's like a kid in a candy store. So excited. Sorry, I should have done a trigger warning. Oh no, I'm sorry, Claire, that you've got no power. Yes, that's right. She did complain about Saltzy from the beginning. Correct. Well,
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, we'll hold for you. Guys, you got to share this stream now. You got to hear. I'm tweeting this stream out myself. This is big news. This is big stuff. See now you guys see Katie likes me. This proves that Katie likes me, or she wouldn't come on my show. So everybody out there is like, Katie doesn't like you, Uni. I'm just playing. Nobody says that. Okay. Well,
yes, he's so giddy and he's so excited, and he's so excited because he's going to get a scoop. He's going to get the scoop.
Live with WOAC. That's how I do it right
Okay.
now. Hey, okay.
Just share it to my Twitter.
Yeah, you announced it on Twitter that Mr. Michael Salty will be getting a lawsuit too.
Yes, we are going to sue Michael Saltz, Esquire.
Did you hear him say Mr. Salty? Mr. Salty. Mr. Salty. It's Mr. Saltzy to you. I mean, if you think about Lorianne flip, like if you think about the fact that Lorianne flipped, right? Well, we know unirock is flipped too, but it's just very interesting. Mr. Salty.
That Mr. Michael Salty will be getting a lawsuit too.
Yes, we are going to sue Michael Saltz, Esquire, Tati, and James Westbrook.
I don't want you to damage any of. Whoa, okay, James, how do you think? Okay, I don't want you to damage your suit or anything. Though people are going to be asking all kinds of questions. Is there anything that you can talk about involving that? Like anything you want to say here at all? I mean,
I did a live on my channel tonight, and my channel has been getting a lot of ridiculous, just trolling and accusations, and it's been overwhelming because this is a YouTuber that has 9 million subscribers that has decided it's of my belief to use me as a scapegoat in a lawsuit that she's dealing with in California. It just all feels like deflection, and this attorney is not, in my opinion, managing. He's violating the code of ethics and the code of.
There you go. So here she said that she was going to sue Saltzy and the Westbrooks. But we know, I mean, that was November and we're into February and nothing's happened. But she announced it on Unirock station, channel, that that's what she was going to do. And I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but good luck with that, says soon too. And she's blaming them for her views being down and her losing subscribers. I thought it was Jeffree Star's fault. I thought it was the trolls' fault. I thought it's like everyone else. It seems to be everyone's fault. And I want to thank the person that actually messaged me with this, because like I went, oh, I know exactly what we're talking about tonight.
Professional code of conduct in the state of Washington. We have sent him a letter to stop what he's doing, and he won't stop. While I was live tonight, he was continuing to talk about me, falsely claiming that I had been served, which I had not been served. And also, he falsely claimed on Twitter that he did not have to abide by the Washington State Professional Code of Conduct, but because it was a federal case. But when you pull up the federal Western District of Washington, it shows that they have to abide by those laws, the laws of the Code of Conduct. So we have at least 3 grievances that we can file against him, against the bar, which could lead to sanctions, disbarment, suspension, even criminal charges.
Even criminal charges, disbarment. Disbarment and criminal charges. Yes, that's right. So the judge has said Saltzy can keep doing what he's doing. So it's always 7. Yes, it does depend on the day of the week. On Monday, it's Saltzy. On Tuesday, it's Jeffree Star. On Wednesday, it's Trolls. On Thursday, it's Tati. On criminal charges against super salts. Yes.
Well, yeah, because listen, here's my thought. You never see a lawyer go to Twitter and do what he's been doing, and everybody said it's strange. Even the other internet lawyers have said this is super strange behavior, and a lot of people just don't understand why someone that's an agent of the court or an officer of the court would act like that when they have to keep it just and fair. I mean, I know some lawyers will try not to so they can win and everything, but he's been going to some extreme places lately. It's been strange.
Specifically using a channel, Emily Baker's channel.
Here we go. Now Emily's about to cop it. So again, she's been after Saltzy and Emily the whole time. Please send this to Saltzy. That's right. He was gathering evidence yes, he was. social media lawsuit. Well, other internet lawyers said. That's what, but see, she makes these claims and never ever says it. Yep, Emily. KJ, how could she not know she was served? She's gotten 4 seasons. Yeah, that's right. Leave Emily alone. Yeah. It's the way she says these lies with such conviction. Does really? Yes, I think she does. Hi, Yoni. No, this is back in November. This was back in November. This video has come to life. I'm sure she viewed his tweet today about the case he's been fighting for years was harassed. It's funny, Jennifer, because I wondered the same thing, because Saltzy tweeted a couple of days ago that he'd been working on a case that he'd been dealing with, has been going on for 9 years, and it's at appeal again. And he said it's not even the longest one that I've done. And I'm certain she will find that, to twist that to say it's about her. He threatened me because he said that a case has been going for 9 years. Well, no, the case he's working on has been going for 9 years. Like, she's living in La La Land. Yeah, well, see, it's interesting because she reckons that they sent Saltzy a cease and desist. And I mean, obviously, if she did, Saltzy's obviously treated what she sent him the same way that she treated Tadi's, her words are biting her really hard. Yeah. All right.
Who is an attorney? Yesterday they put out a video where she somehow got documents from Tati's side of a response that she was saying was to Clark Swanson, which hasn't been filed in court. And why would an attorney who's being sued, or whose clients that are being sued for fraud, release information to a YouTube channel? The same YouTube channel who is saying...
Hang on, did she just say that he was constantly... Did she say that? Why would a lawyer who's being constantly sued for fraud? Has she just stated that Saltzy's been sued for fraud? Let's have a listen to that. I'm going to time stamp it. Let's have a listen to that.
Documents from Tati's side of a response that she was saying was to Clark Swanson, which hasn't been filed in court. And why would an attorney who's being sued, or whose clients that are being sued for fraud, release?
Who has constantly been sued for fraud. Did you hear that? Or was that just me? Let's listen to it again.
From Tati's side of a response that she was saying was to Clark Swanson, which hasn't been filed in court. And why would an attorney who's being sued, or whose clients that are being sued for fraud, release information to a YouTube channel?
That's what she said. That's what she said. She said, why would a lawyer who's constantly being sued for fraud release it to a YouTube channel? Again, where's her proof? That's right, Claire. Her business lawyer did accept service. When will this next episode of this horror show? No, there's been no date set. I don't know if you can. Yeah, she did say it, didn't she? Wowzers. She's lying. And she talks about her, it's like a sing-song. I'm being harassed. I'm going to sue. I was thinking we need to set up a bingo card. You know, like those bingo cards? Katie Joy's bingo cards. She was just jealous Emily got the scoop. Yes, I think so. Wow. She should never open her mouth without a script ever. She should really just keep her mouth shut. Yes. Slander, yep. She has sources. Yeah, they're pretty bad. It's just a shame that, like, yeah, anyway. But that's what she said. So I've written that timestamp down. Yeah. Yeah, KJ bingo. Yeah, because I reckon you'd have to have, I've been hacked, I've been harassed, I've been doxxed. All right. I'm ready to play bingo. All right, we'll have to get some bingo cards. Like, yes, like.
The same YouTube channel who is saying that I better watch out and that Tati has lawyers that aren't messing around. And then you have Dustin Daly, who is saying that he has spoken to Tati and he's putting out, defamatory content about me. You have Nick Snyder from the Viewer's Voice, who's also said that he's been in communication with Tati. So it's of my belief they're utilizing drama channels to somehow push this narrative that I have destroyed her reputation, which is laughable and impossible.
I agree. Now, here's why. I was in the on unirock too, looking at some of the stuff that was going on right after this was all hitting, and I saw Dustin Daly, who I've clicked.
So of course he's going to support her. Actually, her source is Freda.
On it before, and I know he's a T in a drama channel, but he's really about a year ago or a year and a half ago when I found him or something like that. He was a lot more evidence based, and he claimed to be evidence based. And when I heard what he was saying about you, I kept wondering what's with this. Like, and then I heard he talked to, Tati, and it started to make me wonder the same thing. Is Tati telling these guys a certain thing, and they're just accepting it because she's got 10 million subs, and they're just wanting to appease her. And in that case, if she does lie to them, it would be using them, and it would happen that way. And it's been a strange ride, because I know that, like with Keenstar and other people, it just seems like they come in and they say, hey, you can't do this. You can't sue a YouTuber for defamation for reporting things that are out there. To see them flip like they do, almost right after they have time to be contacted or make up their mind, you can't really help people that wonder if that's going on.
It's funny he's talking about people flipping, because remember, he's now flipped. And she talks about her investigative research. This is actually a very damning video as far as KJ is concerned. And yes, I will have to make sure that Saltzy gets it, because it's I'd love to see this one played in deposition. I would love for them to have to do this. KJ believes she has no. Yes, that's right, Mr. Flip Flop himself. Yes. That's right. Tati's reputation is not part of the defamation suit. It's the claims against James stinging into her family. Yes, that's right. Accusations are not fact. That is what is dealt with in our good trade. Well, remember, didn't KJ the other day say accusations was not fact? Wasn't that something that she put somewhere, or was that on a tweet or something? I looked into the CBO complaint list and noticed Saltzy. No. Well, there was a fake complaint on that was done in KJ's name, allegedly.
For sure.
Well, and then you have Mr. Esquire, Mr. Saltz, following known troll accounts that have been stalking and harassing me for the last 18 months and using them, posting someone and saying, this is Katie, accusing them of being me. And then he's also been on Twitter saying, this is Katie, and then speaking to me on Twitter, which is a violation of the code of conduct, professional code of conduct. He knows that I have an attorney. He knows that I'm being represented by an attorney in Minnesota. You don't have to be, I don't even have to have a Washington attorney at this point, because I haven't been served, but I will.
Yeah, but that's all right. I can just give him this video as well. That is right. Prove it. I don't ever remember seeing Saltzy actually address KJ at all. Hey, yeah. She's talking to, so it's Unirock and KJ back in November 2020. No, Saltzy never spoke to her. That's right. Okay. She needs to be stopped. Yeah.
We'll be getting an attorney. We actually are meeting with that attorney tomorrow. That attorney is skilled. That I'm being represented by an attorney in Minnesota. You don't have to be, I don't even have to have a Washington attorney at this point because I haven't been served, but I will be getting an attorney. We actually are meeting with that attorney tomorrow. That attorney is skilled and has dealt with these types of defamation cases in the past, knows exactly what we're up against. And we're not going to just take this laying down. It just seems too strategic. Like, and why the wider YouTube community is believing her when she did this to James Charles. And
her attorney is skilled. Yes, this was back when they were friends. Yes, we know he's skilled. We saw the motion to dismiss. Saltzy only ever acknowledged tweets with thanks or questioning if some things were true and if someone could further clarify. Correct. And he was told, the judge confirmed that he could do that.
To Jeffree Star and to Shane Dawson. Why is it because I had an opinion about her? Why? That was very small by comparison. Why hasn't she gone after D'Angelo Wallace? Why hasn't she gone against PewDiePie? Why did she go after all these big YouTubers that made all these videos that did far more damage than me? Or what about the fact that
because no one claimed her husband was a career criminal. Nobody claimed that her father was in the mafia. Nobody claimed that they had done some digging. Nobody revealed what her real name was. It's not that hard. Seriously. Yes. That's right. That's right. And yeah, Saltzy's not a Washington lawyer either, so they're having to pay a Washington law firm as well. No, she doesn't get it. Does she? Just me.
She put out by sister, which basically ended her career.
I asked you that too. And the thing about defamation, a lot of people in the community seem to not be actually reading definitions and getting themselves up on things, because defamation is kind of dependent on how much of an effect it has on your business. And a lot of the reporting you did early, like, remember, they said this stuff, like the later stuff that KJ said is nothing compared to what she said early on. And I said, but she had like 10,000 subs when she said that stuff. What kind of damage can 2,000 views do when you've got like a by sister with 110 million views? Or, it does seem askew. It seems like
don't forget, a lot of the stuff that some of the allegations in the lawsuit go back to when KJ was writing for Pathos before she even had her YouTube channel. So,
what you just said makes a lot of sense, and we're all kind of.
I had 2,000 subscribers, and I was writing part-time. I was writing at that time, not part-time. I was writing at that time. YouTube wasn't even my job at that point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. It was kind of your side project.
Yeah, so I was doing investigative work at the time, following a lead and going in all kinds of different directions, as you know, when you're investigating.
Yeah.
And people are acting like I was stalking the family. I was not. I did not contact anyone. I did not contact her family. I did not contact anyone in their family. I looked at public records on Ancestry.com. It's not like they act like I was going to hospitals and getting birth certificates. It's like,
well, that's what Keen did, and that's a little bit of what Creepshow did. They kind of went in there and they started sharing this clip that was from when you had much less subs. So I was hoping you'd address that.
That's why they fired her also, yes. Investigative work, yes. Following a lead. She's like a real detective. KJ 2020. I was not stalking the family. Yes. But didn't she say she couldn't find anything on Tuddy's father? And so therefore he had to be in the mafia? She just doesn't get it, does she? Actually, she said on a live today, I think it might have been in her live today, where she was talking about how she gets her information. And essentially she just she don't want to use the word troll, but she gets a lot of her stuff from Instagram. That's how you investigate.
Because in the clip, I don't have the clip right now, but I'm not going to play it either way. But the point is, they want to take those things you said, but they don't want to give context to any of it. Like, yeah, that was when you were on YouTube part time, being a full time investigative blogger, and now they want to compare the way you were then to what you're doing now as this, and it doesn't.
I didn't realize she was an investigative blogger. I thought she was a blogger. Hello, Laurie. How are you? KJ is not a reporter. No, that's right. Yep, okay, that's fine. Oh, EK, yeah, showed her break this a couple of hours ago. She had a caption where she said her story was what initiated the lawsuit. She took credit. Yes, she did take credit for it. She wasn't an investigative blogger. She was a Pathos reporter, wasn't she? You cannot get birth certificates from Ancestry.com if the person is alive. Also, part of the agreement of getting is that you don't use them against the person. Oh, wow. Cool. Were they Halo Beauty vitamins, though?
It doesn't necessarily line up to me. I did find that a little. And then just, I always wondered, like, why did Keem troll you like he did? Or was he trolling you? Yeah, he came in and, that's right.
And
that was so crazy.
And that's why everyone keeps saying that I deleted my Twitter that night. No, I deactivated because Keemstar started making these videos and accusing me of being a stalker and making a lot of defamatory statements and acting like, and then he kept saying allegedly, like as though he knew, even though he was saying allegedly, it was almost implied. It didn't matter that he was saying allegedly. So then I was getting trolled by his sycophants. Yeah. And imagine the creator with 5 million subscribers, you're getting trolled by them. Imagine what your Twitter looks like. I had to deactivate simply because my Twitter was getting bombarded.
Well, you're only like the 900th person that's had to do that after Keem trolls you. So, and that's the accusation against Keem. I mean, he has had those issues. And Keem, you're welcome to come talk. I know Keem's watched my show several times. I don't have.
How do I order the Halo Beauty ones? I don't know. Pardon me regarding James. I think she got the info from my life prior to paying for info. One has to agree not to. Okay. Such audacity. Yes. I swear I thought Tardy's husband was a career criminal because of what KJ said of him. It says, hey, info for gossip. I think she broke the terms. Interesting. So where did she get the birth certificates from? Obviously misrepresenting herself. Well, she keeps saying that I don't know. The way and the number of times she throws around the word defamation. Yes. We have to put defamation, of course, into our bingo card. For family, only if someone got mine and not family, I'd be disgusted. Correct. Well, that's what I thought. I thought Ancestry.com was only for deceased people. But KJ, James Charles warned you that Hardy's going to sue you if you don't stop the videos. And then you outed him and taunted Jeff. That's right.
I don't think he likes me, but he's welcome to come talk sometime. But either way, yeah, I can imagine.
And Keem is one to talk. Yeah. He is one to talk about defamation and the accusations he has levied against so many people for being, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah.
And
he did against a gamer. He said
Yeah.
that he was a predator, and then
And then what about Etika?
oh
Like, he has so many stains on him, and then he's trying to act like he's somehow the moral authority that I need to be worried because he believes some allegations and I should be scared. I mean, that's basically what he's doing. If this is true, you're fucked. Like, you know nothing, Keen.
Well, and then also though, did you see on Twitter right when Keem got mad, somebody attacked him, and they tagged Keem showing him that H3 Productions was followed you or had been following you, and then he got super angry because he hates H3 Productions.
I know. Yeah. Ethan and Hila have been following for a long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just watched. They did the funniest video about the Ace family, that content court. If you haven't watched it, it's hilarious.
I love them. I mean, I've spoken to Ethan in DMs before. I wouldn't say we're like friends, but you know, he's been like cordial and helpful about something. If I have a question and I need.
I've turned it up as much as I can, Claire. And collect all our bingo card names. Yes, sources. That's right. We're going to put sources. Okay. We can put live stuff. Okay, cool. I counted 42 people she claimed to have defamed her. 42. Is that it? Bingo. Hypocrisy is thick. She was very much in denial of the gravity of the court case at the moment of this interview. Yes, she was. "42 people, wow."
Need help, sometimes he'll respond, and he's followed me and watches the channel. He's shouted me out before.
Yeah, I saw that. That's an accomplishment. You know, like Ethan's a titan of old school YouTube. That's just I've watched him since way back in the day. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, like, not a huge fan of like everything that he does, but like, you know, they've always been respectful to me.
Go watch Vape Nation. It's a video he did. It is so hilarious. He's a really good comedian. Let's move ahead a little bit here because you talked about the fact that you're going to be responding. I read the original thing against you, and then I read the thing against Toddy, and then I read Toddy responding to the first to her thing, right? Why do you think they didn't file that in court yet, but they gave it to Emily Baker? I hope you could elaborate there a little bit because I mean people have been asking so much in my chat. I just wanted to make sure I had you on that.
I can't say for certainty. I mean, it all just feels like this is them trying to use the court of public opinion. And it seems odd to me that Emily, who is a former prosecutor, would be so irresponsible by posting something like that, which could negatively actually impact their case in California. Like, why would she? They haven't even responded to that case in California. They have not responded at all. What she shared on her page on her channel was something that it appears as though they were like in mediation, maybe, of going back and forth between attorneys back in August. And that's why when you were looking at it yesterday, you said, this doesn't make sense. Why are they using this as evidence? This proves what Clark said in the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to put Duggars on there as well. And exclusive. Yeah, I mean, we can now see what we can all see what it, you know, what it's like. That's right. She shared it with attorney permission.
Oh, I know, and it almost exonerated you. It was like if you're going to say that Clark did all the damage to the company, this much damage to the company, then why is Katie Joy being blamed in this lawsuit for doing so much damage? You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
It almost begs
And then
questions.
Emily's heavily implying that because of something that he put in the lawsuit, it somehow means that I had communication with him, which is like, so because he finds lawsuits, you know what I mean? Or like James Westbrook's stuff is public. It's public. Like anyone can find it. So if a partner is upset and they're going to try to figure out who they're working with, they can find stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like, I don't understand why they.
I'm with you. A lot of people, we were arguing about this in my chat. They were trying to convince me of why. Not that it was true, but of why so many people believe that Swanson gave you all of your information. And you don't have to say anything there, but I think it might help some of the rumors. And we can skip that if you want, but there's a lot of people that do believe Swanson hooked you up.
I didn't have a lot of information, though. I really didn't. Like, all I knew was that Tati's business was foundering. I mean, but no.
Okay. Now I
That's interesting, isn't it? Yes, there was something on there, something about Reddit with the neighbors. Just like Todd Chrisley, Emma Portland, funny how, yes, that's right. There's evidence of people saying how they did not accept, because yes, that's right. I think would legit poop her pants if Trump went after her. True. We're not playing bingo yet. Yes, it was very interesting how she responded there, isn't it? Because yeah, so there was one of the neighbors was sent some information to the Reddit crew and said that they they keep to themselves and they see Todd and Von, but they don't see her a lot.
I just appreciate that. I think it can kind of maybe what people can do is go back and find something that made them think that and then try to fact check it, and it might help them out. Because you just said that Emily Baker kind of like led that on. So
well, and at the end of the day, if you're reporting and you have a source, like who is her source? She hasn't given up her source, right? So as equally as she's accusing me of getting involved on this end, she's now making herself she's putting herself in that same position, right? Where she's now reporting from a source about a lawsuit where she could end up being in the lawsuit.
It's crazy. I mean, the thing I said about all of this is that Tati is saying that you defamed her by taking this stuff that you were seeing out in public and
There's so much to say. Yes. That's okay. Joe knows what he's going on. Yep. I think so. She'll have to prove. I don't do YouTube. Okay. And you want to share what you found? Okay. Source, yeah. She's never given her source. You want to share what you found, or you can email me if you like, or and yes, this is a good video. Yeah, that's right. She can't. Yep. So if you want to email it to me, I will. Here's my email address. Oops. Ah. That's my email address there. Laura, this is old KJ Madness. This is back in November. So for everybody, that's my email address if you want to contact me. That's my business address. All right, so this is back in so this is, just to reiterate, this is back in November 2020. This is after it all started. Yeah, she just can't control it, can she?
Making your opinion on it. That's Toddy's claim. And to see that so many YouTubers are okay with, now they say that you didn't source your stuff and all this, so it must be defamation, but that's not how defamation works. If you look at a lawsuit, you talk about what you just looked at. That's called giving your opinion on what you just looked at. To see so many other people, other creators, and going out and.
But how do they know that I didn't? How do they know that I didn't source things to make these opinions?
Well, that's my point too. They would have to.
Because you didn't name them. You do. Sorry, I didn't realize the mic was on. That's usually how I respond. Oh boy. Oh, that's okay. It's okay, Gail. It's fine. It's on my business page. Seriously, it's on that's all right. Like if you go to my about section, that email address is there. So that's fine. I don't mind. And you get sued, and you get sued, and everybody gets sued. There's a lawsuit for you. Oh, that's all right. You need the naughty corner. Maybe I need to go into timeout. Maybe I need to be timed out to go and think about what I've done. You got served. If you've got a sticker under your seat, you are now being served. Oh dear. So how would she explain this? How would she explain this interview? Because that she did, and where she's referring to salts as being a fraud. I just don't understand that part of it. Be careful here. It's allowed someone closely involved to the case today with it. Wow. Yeah. Interesting, hey?
Prove that in court that you're not required to show your sources if you get up on screen, but the clips I saw you did. So
well, and if you are doing investigations and what court will say is if you have a reasonable belief based on the information to form this opinion and based on the information she's finding, could someone else form this opinion? Yeah. It will never go in their favor.
Because of the First Amendment and freedom of the press both, yeah.
Correct. And I had never had a malicious intent.
Oh dear. Oh, edited it? Yeah, maybe. But it wasn't you that uploaded it. It was somebody else. So it's somebody's video. Yes, that's right. He never said her name. She goes, she's got girly conscience. I swear she gets really good knowledge from me. saw those video clips, and she was quite proud of herself for uncovering the fact that James was a career criminal, and and that, snake oil. Judge what makes you a reporter. Pulse, and I have a YouTube channel. It's up to others to decide.
There's no malicious intent. Yes, the freedom of press, completely.
She's not the press. Oh, this is the exact video Uni uploaded. Okay, but she's not the press. Yep, so my email address is in the about section, so you can email it to me, or you can scroll up because I did type it out earlier. She was giddy, yep. Yes, I'm working on getting Discord up. I haven't done anything much about it yet, but I'm getting on there. I'm getting there. I do have Discord though. If you're in Discord, yeah, she's the freedom. Apparently, she's the freedom of the press. But it's interesting because, even the press gets sued for defamation, and they do out of court settlements. There's just been an out of court settlement with Sky News, Australia, and a former Australian Prime Minister for something one of their reporters said. Well, actually, I would argue she wasn't. She's a reporter. I would argue that she's not a reporter, but she's a political commentator, and so the press has to deal with defamation all the time. So okay, yeah, cool, yeah. But if you but didn't in her court documents, she said she what was the definition? I'll have to go back and find the court documents again. Was the fact that wasn't a T channel or something, or a I'll write it again. An internet T channel or something, and she talks about celebrities and reality TV. That's not press. Yes, that's right, and they have fact checkers too. There was somebody else that was just trying to. There was another media organisation in Australia that's just paid out an out of court settlement as well. I can't. Yes, that's right. No, she doesn't know any idea. So again, that's my email address. The FBI found it was through a hacking farm. They were paid, and who knows about the hacking farm in the dark web. KJ, she admitted that on a live. Salt said, "What a hello, Sarah loves donuts." Oh, so that's this chat. Yeah, I didn't know that was this chat at the time. So that's interesting. They could trace back.
I'm with you. Okay, well, some people want to know why, and I talked to you about this yesterday in Discord. So that's why I'm saying this here. I think it helps clear up misinformation for us to talk about these things. Some people think, and I know that Emily Baker made it sound like you had deleted evidence. Now, before you respond, let me say this. Well, first off, hold on. Let me see what's going on in my chat here. Okay, listen, here's my thing. You guys probably wonder why my mods are deleting you. If you want to make a statement about Katie, tell us why. Tell us the evidence. Tell us where you drew this opinion from. The specific thing. Then you won't get deleted, okay? That might help you. I know some of you are here to troll, though. You can understand why we're deleting people that just come in and say something shitty, okay? If you say it respectfully, you're not going to get deleted. And if you want to say something that sounds shitty, put why. Put the exact reason why you feel that way. Maybe that'll help you.
The problem, I will say, is the problem with the way that the lawsuit is written is there is no context for the statements that they're claiming that I made. So people are saying that, well, you said this, so it must have been so terrible, but they don't understand what I was looking at and the context of what I was looking at and how much information there is about these things, and how it was all my opinion.
It was all her opinion. It was all her opinion. Really? How much information and the context? Really? Really? Oh dear. Oh dear me. Oh. She got mad. Yeah, so that's around that time. Yes. Here's a quote from a recent lawsuit. YouTube is a private forum and therefore not subject to free speech requirement. Wow. Interesting. Gal says, I've never heard KJ say the word my opinion or any disclaimers in the beginning of her videos. No. But and don't forget, she added a disclaimer to her channel after this too. She didn't have one at this point in time.
Yeah. Let me answer a question in the chat. There's a ding dong in my chat being a ding dong. They say something about tsunami came from Emily Baker. Why are you using it? Or I'm pretty sure tsunami came from Emily Baker, so not sure why you all want to shout it out. It's called a hashtag, ding dong. Hashtags work only if everybody starts using the hashtag. Now, that didn't come from Emily. It came from the live chat. It came from other places. Emily just used it. So I think everybody's going to start using it. You might want to let that go. Okay, but we need to talk about you taking down some videos if you want. If it's something you can't talk about, that's fine. It just would help clear up stuff. Because Emily did say, here's my opinion. You deleting a video is not hiding evidence, especially if they're only concerned with analytics. I actually showed my Discord how you can click a single button in your analytics and download all the analytics for a video just by exporting the analytics. If you wanted to delete a video, you could. If you wanted to private a video, those things do not equate to hiding evidence. So I hope maybe you talk about that for a second, or if not, we can move on. Sorry, I was distracted by the chat. So,
I privated videos. Like, privating videos is not deleting evidence. It's all there. It's just privated.
So why do you think Emily was prone to act like you were deleting evidence? I don't understand why someone would do that, even if they're not, even if they're cited. She shouldn't do that.
I don't know. Why is she not prone to question what Michael Saltz is doing on Twitter? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's bizarre. It's bizarre to me. Why is it that I'm deleting evidence, but then and I'm not?
No, I'm with you, and I'm not asking this to criticize you or anything or to give you hell. I know you've been through a lot lately. I'm just trying to make sure that anything out there that people are spamming around gets taken care of, and I think it's one of the major points is that it's not deleting evidence.
If Creepshow is in the audience, I just want to tell her to stop talking about me. I did not. I saw her comment in there, and if that's really her that's in the show, like, I need her. She needs to stop defaming me. She needs to stop saying I stalked her. I never stalked her. Sending her 2 emails is not stalking her. And if she continues to do this and like be a part of this, like, just stop it, Creepshow. I've never made a video about you. Stop talking about me.
Well, I can help you with that one.
And Creepshow, unirock asked me to reach out to you. He said that you could help me.
I did, yeah. Now here's the other thing though. Creepshow, it might not be her. We used to be able to check to see who is in our audience. You could click 3 dots and go to their channel. We can't do that now. So a sock account could come in. Now, if it is Creepshow, I want to say this if she's in here because I want to help you with this. I have screenshots to back this up because I did.
Oh no! Yeah, stop saying stuff about. I know it's
a video documenting the targeted harassment campaign against you some months ago, and there was an account that took 2 letters in your name and flip-flopped them, and then spammed Creepshow art over a long period of time. And I truly think that's why Creepshow said those things, is because she thought that this account that almost looked like your account, it was like Instead of being like WOACB official, it was like WOACB with the A and the I flipped around, and they said some pretty crazy things.
There was like four of those accounts where I actually had to report them to Twitter and provide my ID to get them removed.
Yeah, I know, and this is the thing. This is why I say before.
And she's literally in the chat calling me a goober.
Well, hey, don't. Well, you're a goober too. Creep Show. I'm just playing. I just thought it'd be funny if I called Creep Show a goober. Hi, Creep Show. Hello. Come talk. We don't bite. We're normal people. You can come hang if you want. Okay. So the one thing that I said about Emily is that I was shocked when someone in the chat told me that viewers were trying to send evidence to Emily Baker of this campaign against you that's been going on since last June. Now I know I can't talk about certain people that were involved in it, but I feel that
Hold on.
Yeah, please.
Creep Show, you either act like an adult or get out of this chat right now. You are being a bully. You are nothing but a bully. I have never stopped you. Leave me alone. I will get my lawyer to get you in this lawsuit. Leave me alone, Creep Show. I'm done.
Okay, listen. How do we build bridges, Katie? How do we build bridges? Because we all exist on this platform. How do we do that? You know, is there a way, or is it just too far?
There you go. What do you reckon? What do you think? Sorry. She only got called a goober. She could have been called a lot worse. This is when she kicked her. That's right. That's right. Yeah. It's really bizarre, isn't it? All of that stuff. I know. I mean, it wasn't even her channel. I mean, as you say. He did. He let her go, and he was trying to be her friend at the moment. Like, all right, how long was it? Oh, it was an hour. All right. Well, yeah, particularly. Well, that video shows it. Yeah, that last bit, she did the same to. Yes, that's right. When she was doing. Yes, that's right. So Creepshow called her a goober. Like, really? So if you can remember back that far, so this is all around that. But the things that were very interesting was the allegations or the things that she spoke about, Saltzy, about at the 4-minute mark. It's like if someone calls her out on lies, it's bullying or trolling. Yep. Exactly. All right. She is a goober. Well, it's only defamation if it's not true, isn't it? Hello, how are you, Mr. Nut? Rumors of fact, boring gossip monger, and limited knowledge makes for a fake. Yeah. It's just, yeah. What can you say, hey? What can you say about it all? Oops, I've just lost my screen. All right, here we go. Right. Harmony says, Uni is growing from all of this. Who knows if it is for good reason, because KJ is just going down and he isn't going down also, but I'm giving them a chance. Look, the last couple of streams I've seen of his have been very, very good. I've really liked them. But I'm also very wary because, you know, this is the so our bingo card is looking very good at the moment. Hello, Susan. All right, so now we're going to have a look at her live from today. She's going to talk about a whole pile of stuff, but she's going to have a go at, she's also going to have a go at Christians again. And I've got a few things to say about that. So when we get there, I know Uni was going to bail on her. I said it on Steve's live for a while. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at some point in time, he didn't want to go down with her, so he had to start thinking about himself. You know, it's like, it's like the sinking ship. You know, everyone's going to get off eventually. Yep. Harmony says yes, I think so. Oh, isn't it? Oh. It's interesting. I signed that petition already, so we've looked at that. So yes, he was trying to create drama, correct? Oh, hey, moderate. Yeah. I didn't see you there, moderate. That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. But I mean, do you think that video, like, is really damning for her? That conversation, is that really damning for her? Are we going to briefly mention that Jessie? I still don't know what's going on with that. I cannot work that out. So, I don't know. Doesn't he have a bomb to drop or something? She's very persuasive, though. People like that are very, very persuasive. Very damning, yeah. KJ blames others for doxing her, but she doxed herself. She originally registered her company with a Better Business Bureau with her home. Yes, correct. Yeah, I think so. No, it's not a very good idea. I think it can be shown to use. Yeah, she thinks herself. Yeah, no one can work out. Jessie, not even him, says Nikki. Yeah, she's very manipulative. Yeah. I posted a long thing on Jessie's community page. It'll be deleted soon. Okay. I tend not to delete stuff. I'm one of these people that if people like on my Facebook page, like they even bag me or anything, I leave it there because, or whatever, it just stays there because it may be useful to somebody else or it's a good reference point. So I don't, I won't be deleting anything unless it's really spam or it's really offensive or, it's not appropriate. But because I want you all, to feel like that this is a safe space and you're free to have your opinion, We're probably going to disagree at points and, have different views on stuff, but that's fine, anyway. All right. Not to self-promote. Cool. Have to have a look at that. Oh dear, Jennifer. All right. So this was. Oh, okay, you're one of the ones who came for the dream. Okay. All right, so this is her live. So this is last night was so bad. So this is talking about her heater. Now, there was actually no super chats in here. That's right, Claire. I don't know. It was never registered with the court. I mean, it may have been a draft copy or whatever, but, you know, or it wasn't used. It doesn't matter. That's right. And we can disagree. And as I said, my only rule is respect. As long as you respect each other, I have no problem. So this live was weird. It was a weird live. Yeah, it was really weird. All right, so here we go. Are we ready? 82 in here. Wow. Hello, everybody. I took a 10-day buff for you because it made me so mad. Yes. Well, that's why I tend to do it as a group, solos, so we can all help each other through. But if it is too bad, please ask me to stop and I'll stop the video and we'll talk about something else. But we try to do it. I try to do it in a group so that we can support each other through it because, as I said, there's something in here that set me off today. And I didn't have anyone watching it with me. But if we watch it together, we found that when one of us is triggered by something particular, we can all support that person. So, but just call out. All you do is let me know, and I'm happy to stop it. So, but that's what I want you to know is that if it's too much, we will go. We'll see how we go. That's all right, Solo 7. It just helps if we do it again. Who just... Oh, that's all right. I always get a thumbs down. I always get at least 2. And I figure it's just KJ and Toad, so, you know. Because she lost another... Sorry, she lost...
Good night to my son. I haven't been on this channel in a few days. Oh.
Hang on. She lost another ride and die, actually, so as well. So one of her more recent ride or dies has turned and has seen the light. So it's all right. Well, my daughter's a vegetarian, so, and we're all, we're meat eaters, and I still sometimes forget she's a vegetarian. Just a Joe hater, yeah, probably. Yeah. It's a very interesting story because she did some videos in defense of her, and then changed, and then she went back to her for a little bit, and then she's just walked away and said, no, I can't anymore. And she actually admits in her video about mass flagging and being a ride or die as well. So, and I can tell you what that channel is as well. But I watched that one. That was really interesting. I actually like watching those videos of people who see the light, so to speak. Why did she lose her ride? No, she just got sick of the way that she was, that people, that KJ was speaking to people and the rudeness. And then when she needed help, of course, it wasn't there. She did do a live. Yep. All right. So let's get this going. There's a couple of funny moments. There's one moment where she doesn't know what the time is. And she's asking her chat, what is the time? I thought that was, yeah, there's a couple of really interesting bits. Are you interested to know who the new defector is? The new defector has a channel called Keeping Up with KP. She's deleted all her pro Katie videos, and she's got one that says why I could no longer stand by KJ. But the channel was set up specifically to Keeping Up with KP, was specifically for KJ. So we'll see how we go. If we've got time, we'll go through that one as well. But she's been in a few people's chats. I believe she's been in Charlotte's chat. She was in ECK, what's in Erin's chat earlier as well, and was sharing her story there. So, yeah, it's very. So she's starting to make her way into the community. So, I did reach out and said that if she was able to, she was always welcome. I said we always welcome people. Keeping Up with KP is the name. Yeah. Oh, cool, rescue lady. I don't think she was a mod, but she was a ride or die. But she has been flip-flopping, but she's finally selling the loan. But I've told her, I did reach out to her and say that she's always welcome here. Always. I'll always welcome anybody. Even the guest of honor herself would be more than welcome, as long as she was respectful. No, I don't think she was in my chat. No. That's interesting, isn't it, Claire? It's a very interesting one. And you can tell me she was off KJ, but at the same time, yes, that's right. Yeah, so now she's stopped giving her money. So she stopped them. And so what you'll need to do is you'll need to tell me what I have to vote for it, whether I need to give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. But I already know what you're going to say. But anyway, let's go with an semi-open mind.
And suddenly got extremely tired as soon as I was thinking about doing this video. And all day I was like, am I gonna go live? Am I gonna say hi to my peeps? I haven't been over on this channel in a minute. And I was like, okay, I have a lot to talk about. And I was like, well, maybe I can come on here and talk about it. But today was such a busy day. We had a lot that was going on. So thank you, Emily, for becoming a member.
I might add it's a members only chat, and you have to be a member to chat. Like it says, a stan is a super fan, like a member, and fam is short for family. So someone wanted to know what a stan fam was. Oopsies. Her sub count hasn't changed, but engagements is way down. Good chat like has 600 to 1,000 views. Yes, it does. And I didn't even. Oh dear. Well, there's no. I cannot recall seeing a super chat in this one, and I did watch it all through. But towards the end, I start yelling. I might warn you again. I might start yelling again.
And thank you. Hi, everyone that's here. You guys are having a good day. So, I don't even know if anyone can check the temperature for me right now, and just type in Minneapolis or that area, Minnesota, and tell me what the temperature is, and then I can tell you the story. It's -8. Okay.
So she's got to find out what the temperature is before she can tell the story. Did you say Minneapolis? No, she didn't get any. That's right. I can't see how many dislikes. So she had 342, and she's got 161 likes.
So -8. Okay.
So by the time she's finished, she's offended. She's offended Christians, the roloffs. I think she goes on about the Duggars again. Yeah, she offends. Okay. Yeah, she's in Minneapolis. Okay. Look, I have. Yeah. All right. Cool.
So yesterday it was like, I don't even remember. It was in the afternoon still. It was still light out. So it was before dinner. It was some point in the middle of the afternoon. We didn't have a nurse here yesterday, so when we don't have like nurses and stuff, I try to help out in the mornings. Usually I would just like go right to work, but yesterday like I got all of like my son's medications ready, and we did his food, and then got him ready for school, and I did his.
Normally I just go to work. Like, doesn't she work from home? I'm just going to rewind that. Sorry.
It was in the afternoon still. It was still light out. So it was before dinner. It was some point in the middle of the afternoon. We didn't have a nurse here yesterday, so when we don't have like nurses and stuff, I try to help out in the mornings. Usually I would just like go right to work, but yesterday like I got all of like my son's medications ready, and we did his food, and then got him ready for school, and I did his first class with him in the morning. And I came back downstairs at some point, and it was before, again, it was still light out. Like, it's really dark.
She did the first school. Yeah, I don't know why. Wasn't it Friday when that happened, or was it Saturday? Was it Friday when it happened? I don't know. So I'm not sure what's happening. I'm confused. It's not Sunday school, says Spring Chick. She did say they haven't had nurses for weeks. You are correct. She did say that.
Dark here really early. And it was super cold down here. And I remember I said to my husband, and I was like, is there a window open? I mean, that's how cold it was down here. It felt like there was a massive draft in our house. And I can just show you here. Apologize. But we do have some big windows here. And we have like a lot of windows on this main floor. But it's pretty, I mean, I don't know. It's fairly, like, it's a fairly big area. But so we have a lot of windows. And I was like, there's a window open. There has to be a window open. And then I went downstairs to work out, and it was like 4 o'clock or so. And it was really, really cold down in the basement. And I was like, is there a window open down here? Like, that's how it felt. Well, by like 6 or so, my husband's like, the furnace is out. And I was like, that's why this house feels like an icebox. It was, I don't even know what time it went out.
It's interesting because it says, my balls are made of crystal, says, I didn't even realize it was cold because I'm always hot. Oh, that's interesting. That's a good point, Nikki. I don't know. Well, that was my first thought. Random question while I think of it. They built their home not long ago. Why the heck did they renovate the kitchen? I don't know. And then she complains about her where she records, and someone says the basement, and then she says that they can't use there's no doors or something in the basement or something, but I don't know. And the house is too big for their needs. There's they've got a 4-bedroom house with 3 people. Do they all have their own room?
It was really cold up in my office, which is weird because it's never cold ever in my office. It's always really hot up there. So it's like super cold. So I'm like freaking out. My husband's like, I have to get. This was when I was actually getting my son to bed. My husband texts me from over there. So he's sitting on the couch, and he's like, the furnace is out, and I'm trying to get someone over here immediately. Well, they couldn't come until the morning. So my poor son, I'm panicked because he gets cold really easily, and not having a furnace with his thyroid issue and his dysautonomia, I was so freaking out. So I went and got like 4 comforters, and I'm like piling them on him. I'm like making my husband run around the house and looking for like a some sort of heater. You know, like we used to have a space heater. So my husband's like tearing apart the house looking for stuff. And obviously we don't find it. I was just showing you what a like disaster this house is. And so I finally get my son in bed, and I'm trying to get him to understand that we don't have like we literally don't have heat. So I'm trying to make him like sleep under the covers. And the thing is that this house is brand new. So, well, not brand new. We've been here. We built it 7 years ago, and so almost 8. So we've never had any issues with any of our, whether it's been the AC or anything. It's always worked because everything is brand new, and we have a really nice furnace.
Yeah, but you have to maintain them. At 6 p.m., she realizes the furnace and couldn't get someone until 10 a.m. the following morning. I call, yes, they would. So someone said, he says here, Wild Goose Chase, Jessie Bear says, I'm always freezing. I've got a heated blanket and slipper socks to wear to bed as gifts. And to that, he says, that's Katie as well. She's always cold. Yeah, I would have thought having it would have been a priority case.
We got like a middle of the road furnace or whatever. So I get my son to bed, and the temperature in the house is like falling. And I'm like, what are we gonna do? I'm like panicked. So then I'm like, someone suggests opening up the oven and turning the oven on. So we turn the oven on on the main floor. But the problem is that upstairs is where my son is, and he's in a room that has to have the door closed because of the animals. So if we keep the doors open, the animals will go in there, they'll bother him, and he likes to have the door closed when he sleeps. And I don't want the dogs to bother him. I don't want anyone to jump on him so he's asleep. And I'm like running upstairs, and I'm like, I need to go get him another comforter. And so I end up piling on like, I don't even remember, like 3 or 4 comforters. We don't have any heated blankets. My husband can't find like the space heater. Yeah, we had a space heater. I just don't know where it went. Like we had one that would have been fine, and it would have been the totally right size for our bedroom. Because when my son was really young, we lived in an apartment that was really drafty when we were building this house, and we had a space heater in his room because it got super cold in there, and he has like I said, he has dysautonomia, so he has to have the room at a certain temperature. So
someone talks about the cats could hurt themselves investigating the oven.
The cats were not down here. We didn't leave the oven open all night. It was only open a crack. Nobody got near the oven. Everything was fine. It was only open a crack. It was open just big enough to like just let heat into the house. And it was, again, like negative degrees outside. We were doing the best we could. So the cats weren't down here. The dogs, we had the dogs away from the oven. The dogs were put upstairs in my office, and we keep everyone away from the oven. So we end up getting the temperature down here up a little bit, but obviously not enough. But then it's like midnight, 12:30. I mean, we're still trying to figure it out. But finally gets through to someone, and they're going to be here in the morning. So we're like trying to figure out like what we're going to do, and we're still trying to figure out if it's something my husband can fix. So then we're on YouTube, and we're like, okay, what's the most common issue that can happen? How cold did it get into your house? So when we woke up this morning, it was like 55 degrees in the house. So thankfully, 58 degrees. So it wasn't so bad. Like it wasn't too bad. I mean, it could have gotten a lot worse.
So Todd had written 58 degrees. So her son's room has to be at a certain temperature, but she could let it cold at night. Come on. Yeah, that's right. Oops, they close. That's right. Interesting, isn't it, Claire? This is kind of a boring story. She would have had those things handy. Yeah, that's right. You would know where your yeah, I would have thought that I really would have thought that they would have had a heater, at least for the son's
The
room.
house is insulated really, really well. And in the winter, if you're not like, it's not like we're going in and out. We have to let the dogs out and stuff, but like the doors aren't open, windows aren't open, so we're not letting a lot of cold air in. So yeah, we got down to 58 degrees. But yeah, it was freezing in here because it was negative degrees outside too. So then it was really cold for inside. I was impressed that we didn't get it. I was impressed that it didn't get colder than that, but it was freezing. It felt like an icebox when we came down here this morning. And then my son has autism. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a very, very, very different day for him.
Yes, that's true. Oops. Blah, 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 blah. She turned the label of the beer can. She did. I did see that. We have 2 extra space heaters in a little house. Yep. That's what it would seem.
And it's going to be a really different day today. And so we're going to have to figure out like how we're going to keep him so he doesn't have a meltdown. And we're trying to explain to him like, okay, you have to listen to mommy and daddy. It's really, really cold in the house. This is something that's different. It's not going to be, we have to be flexible. This isn't normal. This is going to be a different routine. You can't play on the floor because we have like floors that are really, like those kind of floors. It gets cold.
Hang on. Her ring light wouldn't her lights that she used in her studio have let out some heat? Because I've got a ring light here and it's heating me up. Couldn't she have just used her ring lights? Her baby mum who's healthy, but they like the door closed. My other child has the door open so I can hear sick child. Yes. It is called adulting.
And they were like icicles. The toilet seat was like an icicle when I had to go to the bathroom. It was so bad. So we get him down here and we do spaghetti arms when we do the flexible. You gotta be flexible. And so we get him to sit on the couch and we get him a couple blankets and then we convince him to wear his slippers. We tried to get him to wear socks, but he refused to wear socks. We were trying to get him to wear sweatpants. He would not wear sweatpants. He doesn't like to wear clothes. He just likes to be at home in like his boxers and his little boxer things and his t-shirts. So I'm like, okay, if you're not going to wear anything on your legs, you have to be under the blankets the entire time. And he was getting so frustrated because he was like, I just want to play. But he was so good. So good. So we ended up turning on the oven again this morning.
Todd says he wasn't too concerned. If it was 58 degrees outside, I would have been out there in shorts and a t-shirt. So he's not playing the game here.
We put the dogs upstairs again. We got the main floor, I think, heated up to like 61 degrees, 62 degrees. And then the repairman showed up. And I was so nervous that it was going to be a huge issue because our burner was not lighting. And we're not really going to have a monstrosity of electric bill because first of all, our oven is actually gas. And so if we would have been running the heat, we would have had to pay for it anyway because our heat is also gas. So if we didn't have any gas running into the house and we're only using the oven, we'll actually have a way less. It's not going to be as much if you think about it. We didn't keep the oven on overnight. The oven was turned off when we went to bed. Like our downstairs fireplace wasn't on for very long because we weren't down there. We don't have a fireplace on this floor. So But yeah, it was.
They don't have a fireplace on that floor, but hot air rises or heat rises. So if you it was on a, assuming it was in the basement, wouldn't the heat have gone up? Yes, that's right. He can tell from 6. Yes, that's correct.
So cold. Yeah, we have gas stoves. So we have gas stoves and then it's natural gas as well to heat the house. But we don't have a fireplace on this main floor because it is really, really usually very warm on this floor because we're south facing. So even in the winter, this room is just naturally like warm. So if we had a fireplace up here, we would never use it. So we have a fireplace in our basement, which I'm glad we have because when we're down in the basement in the winter, it's cold down there.
So I will repeat what I just said. Light the fireplace in the basement, have the doors open from the basement and the hot air will rise. Doesn't that make sense? Or go to a hotel. Yeah. She could have. Well, she did a live stream last night where she was telling him how to go about fixing the furnace. Apparently, he told her to F off. Allegedly, that's what I heard. She did one. They're in this process where what's the first thing you do when you're freezing cold? Oh, we do an Instagram live.
But we don't go down in the basement very much anymore. We used to not use this main floor ever. We used to have all of his stuff downstairs because when he was little, he had all of these like crazy toys. He still has all of his toys up here. I had this master plan when we built this house that we were not going to have any toys on this floor. We were not going to have any toys on this main floor because we have 1,000 square feet finished downstairs. That's just his place. That's like, it's got a kitchenette, a bathroom. It has like a full living room, and a whole area. Like, we were not going to have any toys on this floor. That lasted like 5.2 seconds. Most of his toys are still.
So the basement's like a whole mini apartment by the sounds of it. So they could have slept down there. No, she doesn't want a bigger house. She complains she has a smaller house. I know, imagine paying to listen for this.
Downstairs, but it does not stop him from going downstairs every single day and then bringing them upstairs and then me having to bring them back downstairs. I don't know what I was ever thinking. You know how you just have these ideas? You're like, this is how my life is going to be, and then you like life is actually is, and then this is like what your life turns out to be. You just have like Godzilla and like dinosaurs everywhere. Well, he likes such big toys. Like, it was great in theory. So, and he's really into dinosaurs. So, and like Godzilla stuff. So, and all of those toys are big. And like for Christmas, he got all these big guys. Like that's a big one. And then you got like this guy over here. It's humongous. And then you got these guys over here that are huge. So you got all these huge dinosaurs. And then look at that. This is like a Halloween costume from like 5 years ago that he just like will bring upstairs constantly. He doesn't wear it. It's just a dragon, and he thinks like he just plays with it. He has the most random ideas when he plays with toys.
All kids do what I would believe. It's called imagination or entertaining. He said, and Todd says, I never wanted a TV on the main floor either, but now we have the biggest TV known to man. So there you go.
So we didn't have this. We weren't going to have anything up here. That was the goal. Like, we're not going to have a TV up here, because if we have a TV up here, then all of our toys will come up here. But then I got tired of constantly going downstairs, and then I felt like we weren't using this space. So we got a TV up here, which we rarely have on anyway. My son doesn't watch TV; he watches his iPad, and we only watch TV like very rarely. Like we turn it on like at night, and we watch like Don Lemon or like Anderson Cooper on CNN.
They don't have it on a lot.
And so now this whole main floor has been like taken over by him. But anyways, they come in. I'm so paranoid. I thought it was going to be burners. Back to the story. It was such an easy fix. Thankfully, one of the drains or something, I don't even know what he said, some sort of drain that carries, I think, condensation out. Yeah, carries some sort of condensation out. Had a little bit of gunk in it. And so he said it was really fast. Like, all he had to do was like go in and clean out that gunk, and it took like 2 seconds. And it was enough, like a tiny enough film in there, that it was causing it to throw off. The exhaust flue was clogged, he said. And he said it wasn't very clogged at all. It was just a little bit stuff in there, and he said he cleaned it out, and it like somehow that stopped the sensor from lighting the burners. And then he was like, so nice. I cannot tell you how nice these guys were. I'm not going to say the name of these people, because if I say the name of these people like the haters will stalk and harass these people. But I cannot say enough good things about their heating and plumbing company.
All right, stalkers and harassers. Right, we'll stalk and harass. Well, maybe, just maybe, people might ring them for business. Harass, yes. Did we say we've got trolls, haven't we, on the bingo cards? Yeah, harass. I think we've got harass on the bingo cards.
They're local to us. They actually did all of the plumbing in our house. They have helped us with when we had a cracked pipe from our sprinklers. When we got you have to blow your sprinklers out, and it got cold really, really fast one year, and we didn't blow them out early enough, because sometimes that can happen in like Minnesota. Like, you think you're going to get another good day, and then it's like, oh crap, and then our like spring.
Well, Todd says the exhaust flue was clogged. The exhaust flue was clogged.
Water lines burst, so in one part of the house, or one kind of like something throws off, or I don't know, at the spigot. So they fixed that, but they came here and he gave us like, he didn't charge us like $200 because it was so easy. And he was like, yeah, this fee would have been this, but you know what, like, it's fine. Like, that was such an easy fix. And like, they understood that like our son was like, when my husband called and told them that our son was like medically fragile, they were like really accommodating about getting someone here as soon as they could. So they also then gave us like a couple $100 off. So I felt like it was so nice.
They would have got somebody there last night. If they'd said medically fragile, I have no doubt they would have been there earlier. But anyway. But before she said they didn't charge $200, then she's just said they gave them $200 off. So what is it? Yeah, well, that's taken 20 minutes to tell that story. We're at 1923. No, she can't make money from them.
And he wore a mask the entire time he was in the house. He completely kept social distancing from us. He wore gloves. He had hand sanitizer. He wore gloves. He had hand sanitizer with him the entire time. It was like so, because we get nervous anytime anyone comes into the house, but he was like so professional. It was like,
most people would have to do that. I know that it's different in the areas, but that's what would have to happen if somebody came to my house. Masks are compulsory indoors where I live at the moment. They're not compulsory outdoors. But if you're indoors, on a train, in a shopping centre, in a crowded place, you have to. I bet you that they didn't wear a mask. See, because if I have somebody come to my house, if I, I can, but I have a hand sanitizer by my front door.
So nice. So, yay to the local heating and plumbing people that came to fix and didn't charge us what he should have, and abided by social distancing and wore the mask and had the.
So they're a local plumbing company. So guess what? If she lives in such a small town, there'd only be a limited number of people. Come on, Katie. Just giving the game away.
And yeah, made me happy. So the heat was on by about 11 this morning. It was a long few hours. So needless to say, I didn't sleep very much because we were up late trying to figure out if we could fix the furnace ourselves. And then this morning, we didn't get
I reckon because they may have done a call out fee, and it may have been an emergency call out fee. It may have been the call out fee was cheaper if they came during the day. Yeah, that probably is what it is.
a lot done because we were obviously just trying to keep warm because it was so cold down here. The only thing better than not being charged is good customer service. I know. I'll say this. I know I've made a lot of complaints about just how sometimes it's like super conservative around here and people can be a little bit racist and sometimes a little bit homophobic. But I will say this. There are definite benefits to living in a smaller town because I feel like you get like the small businesses around here really do like go the extra mile to take care of like the community because we're not close to anything. We're like, we're 20 minutes from the closest suburb that has anything in Minneapolis. And then, our pipes were fine because we were still using the water and like we still flushed the toilet. The pipes weren't going to freeze that fast. Like we're still like running water. It wasn't going to freeze that fast. But yeah, and there could have still been hot water in the lines, especially if like we hadn't like used any of the water. So yeah, and we still had like hot water in our we still had hot water in our hot water heater because that's not connected to our. So we still had hot water. I don't know if that makes sense. Like our water wasn't off, and our water heater is not connected to our furnace. So the water heater was still on.
Yeah. What you drinking, hey? Yeah, she stopped her family, yeah. That's right. Her son wasn't fragile enough for the fee. You change the filter every month? Yeah.
So our water heater was fine. It was the furnace. But anyways, we live in this small town, and so the town we live in, there's like 3,000 people, and there's literally nothing here. There actually is a heating and plumbing place here, but we've never used them before, just because when we built, we used this one place, and because they did our plumbing, and I think they did our heating too. I think they might have, because they did everything. We've just always gone back to them, just because they've always had such good customer service. So they've always been really like conscientious.
That's why they didn't get the call-out fee. That's why they didn't get it fixed, because they didn't go to the one that could have done it. You are correct, Dr. Cross. They could have. And she could have done hot water bottles. Hot water bottles all the weights as well, wouldn't they? I'm sorry, Gail. Literally, do we have that? Do we have that on our list? Literally. Literally.
The edges. So yeah, that's the one benefit I feel like when you live out here is like the small businesses that are around here, they do really take care of the community, which is nice. And then if you do have someone that is in your family that is like medically fragile, like those small businesses will go kind of like the extra mile to make sure that you don't have to wait, and you know, that part of it is really nice. So we're grateful for that, for sure. Even like the restaurants around here, like we haven't eaten out in forever, but even like the restaurant owners and everything, like people around here that own businesses are so good to the community, which is really nice. And one of the reasons that I really like living out here is because when you go places, people know who you are.
Toad says it's the same company that came out on Christmas Eve to fix the mess that the builder created with the dishwasher. I wonder.
Yes. Oh, that's it. That's right. So when we first, yes, Elizabeth, you live in a smaller town or you're a girl town, you help everyone around you, even if you don't like each other. Exactly. And that's the other thing that you should say, like, even if you don't agree with like your neighbors politically or whatever, or if you have like a disagreement, like you realize that like you can't hate them because you literally don't have a lot of people around you. So you learn to like just sort of like agree to disagree, squash things, and try to just move forward, because it's so much more healthy that way than it is to like if you live in a small town. You literally, if you hate your neighbors, it just makes everything worse because they're like the only people you see, you know. So you don't want to like, you don't have to agree with them on everything, as long as you can like respect each other's space and like, you know, be friendly. That's really all that matters. Doesn't mean that we haven't had issues, but you know, I think you're almost forced in a way to like confront that kind of stuff. You can't really ignore it. Like in the city, you could just ignore it and be like, I don't want to deal with this, but you can't here. Because people talk too. And they'll be like, you know what Katie said, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's just how it is around here. But we don't.
Why is she looking over her shoulder again? No, they don't have to talk about to each other what Katie said. They just have to go onto YouTube and go, have you seen her latest live? That's what they're going to do. Ah, yes. They'd only have to look on YouTube.
We haven't interacted with anyone at all because of the virus. So I do feel bad. One of my neighbors just had a baby, and it's a preemie, and she's been in the hospital for weeks. I feel bad that she's had to go back and forth constantly. And I haven't. It can be good and bad for sure. That's true. You definitely feel like when it's bad, but like when you need people to kind of like rally around you, and like if you need help someone.
So one of her neighbors had a preemie baby, and like she hasn't even gone and left something on the doorstep or done something for her. Like, anyway.
If you need help with something, there's always someone in this neighborhood that will literally help you. Like, if we need anything, like if we needed like a ladder or something, we have so many neighbors that we could just be like, oh, can we use your ladder? You know, like if you needed to borrow something, people would borrow you anything around here, because it's just like, yeah. Like,
why didn't she go to the neighbors and ask for a heater? Yes, I know. I saw that too, Jennifer.
Our neighbors, like, you're just like, oh, 1 minute you're like, yeah, the next minute you're like, can I borrow this? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Because you never know, like, they might need something from you. That's why I only, like, if the little kids come knocking on my door, I literally only give things to the kids that live in this neighborhood, like, that live on my block. I don't give to any kids that come to my block. They're not from my block. Like, I only, like, if there's these little boys, they always, you know, they do, like, fundraisers, and I just give them money every year. It's like, okay, here, yes. You know, whatever.
I don't think it's happened because of COVID. Borrow a flagpole and borrow heaters. So neither of them thought to go to the neighbour and ask to borrow a heater. Green Acres is the place for me. She does admit she doesn't listen for the AdSense money she was making before. She should have been doing a nice giveaway for her subs. She's a grifter concerning all history. Yes.
All right. So the only problem we have is that there's like teenagers, because it's rural, there's like farms all around us. So we're in a housing development. And there's like a couple hundred houses in here, maybe 300-400 houses in here. But like across, like we live like a block and a half off the county road, literally. No, like a block off the county road. And on that county road, just like literally if you go right across the street, there's a farm. And that whole side right across the street from us is either lakes or farm. So there's like cows and mostly cows. There's a lot of horses too, but there's a lot of like horse ranches, but those are more on the back end of our house. But over like right off the front of our house is where all like the farms are, and they grow like soybeans and corn. So, and then there's a lot of lakes, like tons of lakes. So it's like either farms or lakes. Yes. So it's pretty mellow. Like in the summer, we love to go on walks because there's so many lakes around here. And we love to go on walks because there's cows and horses that we can see all the time. And my son loves to go see the horses and the cows.
They love going on walks because there's cows and horses. Like, well, if there's farms with cows on it, there would be cows. I wouldn't whispers. She is, but why does she keep looking around? That's what I don't know. That's what I don't understand.
But I will tell you that when you're running and you are downwind from the cows, it can take your breath away. There's like a farm that does beef, right? It's not dairy or whatever, it's just beef. And it's beef. And they're not they don't get to roam around or whatever, but they have like this like a big ear.
Look, Todd makes this comment, and she doesn't even flinch. Right? Todd writes, the other day I was driving to the store and I swerved not to hit a deer, ended up in the ditch, and I didn't even sweat it because I knew someone would come and pull me out. Really? Like, she's just let that comment go.
That they like can walk in and hang out in, but they're not like out on the grass. They're not like grass cut or whatever. And those guys, they're super friendly. The cows, they will like literally look at you through the they'll like poke their heads out through the fences, but they stink so bad. They smell so bad. So yeah, if you're running at certain times during the day and it's hot out, the downwind of the cows can really bite you in the butt. Yeah. Oh yeah. So it doesn't smell as bad as a pig farm. Pig farms smell so bad. I don't know if you've smelled a pig farm. Pig farm is just like, oh, so disgusting. But the cows just smell like poop. And then twice a year when they're prepping the fields, and like when they're getting the fields ready to plant, right before they get the ground ready, they till it all out, they get it all ready, they fertilize it, and they bring out those like trucks that have poop on it, and they spray the manure all over. So twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, it smells like poop in our town. Literally, you go outside and literally it just smells like poop. It smells like manure. That one was hard to get used to too. fall, they do it after they harvest. So they harvest and then they get the field ready by spraying manure down. The things that you learn when you live out in the country. And then you go outside and you're like, all right, I'm going to go back inside. It's the day that they sprayed the fields.
You don't go outside anyway. You're seriously questioning her IQ? Yeah. The cows troll now. Oh dear.
Ugh, they have the big trucks that they spray with.
Yes, and you have to be a member to watch this. Well, that's right. You can find her house by the... No, I think the pride flag's down now. I don't think she's got it up anymore.
You know, it's quiet. And then in the winter, in the summer, the frogs are really loud. And the cicadas or whatever, the crickets are really loud. There's lots of frogs. Lots of frogs. It is very peaceful. We don't have like... You don't hear sirens here very much.
So there's lots of toads around in summertime. If you paid attention to when they finalised you. Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. So there's lots of toads around. Yeah, I know, that's very interesting, isn't it, Susan? It is very interesting. Joe, you start blabbing about having no house smell, so we're going to call you outright. Yeah, well, actually, I'm sitting here thinking that I'm cold, but I've got to go close my window. That will warm it up. Actually, the suburb that I live in, if you're coming from a certain area, it's called the Altona smell, and it stinks. And it depends on how bad the wind's, so it does. But yeah, anyway. I don't know whether you can see it, but she's actually picking her fingers as well. Just so if you wanted to think about something gross.
To be honest, I can't remember the last time I actually heard a siren. You really don't hear police cars or any sort of sirens here very often at all. And you don't hear planes because we have an airport that's not far from us, but it's like smaller planes. So you don't have like the jumbo jets or whatever that fly over this area. So you don't have that like noise that you have in the city. We used to live in a part of Minneapolis that was like where the planes either descended or went up. I can't remember. I think descended. And it would get really loud there. But we don't hear any of that here. So you don't hear planes, you don't hear sirens. The worst you'll hear is like in the summer when it gets busy on the road, you'll hear like the trucks. You know, like the big like trucks. The big trucks. The Mack trucks, you know, like the 18-wheelers, you'll hear those. And farm equipment. Yeah, don't get stuck behind the tractors when they're riding on them. The worst is when you're driving and you're literally like, you just pull out and the farmer in front of you is like poking along, driving their tractor because a lot of them, they have a lot of acreage around here. And so they move from one field to the next, but they use the county road to move from one field to the next. And so while they're moving from one field to the next, if you get stuck behind them, it's such a pain. Such a pain. I remember when I was getting my driver's license, there was this like question about, you know, the distance you have to be behind a farm vehicle and whether or not you could pass them. And I remember thinking, I will never need to know this. Ever. The frogs are super loud. They do. They're so loud in the summer. Yeah. They have all kinds of like the combine harvesters. Those are so big. The harvesters are huge. And if you get stuck behind one of those, you literally cannot get around it because they are so tall. They are so wide. They like practically take up the whole road.
Did you all know that about combined harvesters? Because like I'm a city slicker and I knew that they're very, very big. Like I do see them. I might be a city slicker, but I am aware of machinery. Big trucks, yeah. Yes, please hit that like button if you can, please.
I know. I know. My husband wanted to move out here. My husband wanted to move to the country. I was like, I'm going to be a city girl my whole life, but my husband wanted to move to the country. And
wasn't she born? Didn't she grow up in a country town? Like, what's this city stuff? So, and it says, then you met me. This is how farms work. They move machinery. Oh, sorry, you didn't get notifications. No. But didn't she grow up in a small country town anyway? Or am I totally and utterly wrong? 'Cause I don't know. But I've heard us talk about living in a small country town. Yeah, she said she grew up in a small town. So how can she be talk about being a city slicker?
he really likes it out here because it's quiet. He doesn't like to be around a lot of people. And honestly, like now that my son's in school, and like he has a really good teacher and he's making
In school, I thought he was learning from home. Oh dear. Yeah, she didn't get along with her brother because she moved away from home. She moved away from where her family lives, and she doesn't see her brother. Was that Crystal Bill's video clip?
friends and stuff. I can't imagine like moving, to be honest. Like sometimes I'll think about moving and then I'm like too lazy. Plus we have a house that's like bigger than what we need. I do not know how these people like, so like, you know, people on YouTube or whatever, they'll start making money and then they buy these ginormous houses, right? I'm always just like, I have 3,400 square feet that I don't even know what to do with. Like 1,000 of those I don't do anything with. We use basically 2,400 square feet of this house. I would barely be able to, I could barely keep this house clean. And then you see people that have like 6,000 square foot houses, and I'm like, I don't even know what I would do with that. I feel like I would be cleaning constantly. I don't want a house that big. It just sounds like too much work. Like cleaning, maintaining. I don't want a mortgage that high. The only thing.
Start renting out rooms. Well, but the other people would have to come into the house. Yeah, she did say that. I was surprised because I didn't think she was going to do that, Jessica. Yes. True. She makes people pay. Yep, as I said, people paying to listen to this. Yep. Well, and in fact, didn't her parents come to visit them at Christmas? She doesn't go to them. They have to come to her. And she wouldn't let them in the house because of COVID. They had to stand outside or something, which I thought was pretty bad.
The thing about this house I wish is that I had a better space for recording. But like this is like, here, I'll show you. Like that's it's like the basement's big. The basement is a disaster. We have 4 bedrooms. There's only 3 of us. Basically, the house is just for the animals, really. It's our animals' house, and then we just live here. They're like the landlords. Because we can't, because there's no doors to the basement. It would be too loud. I need a space where I can actually, where I record is fine. It's just, I wish I had honestly, I wish I had a space off the house to record, but I'll be fine. I'm not going to convert anything. I'm not looking for advice. I'm just really lazy. That was just me sort of saying, I have zero intention to make any changes because I don't have motivation for that. But we can't because our basement is completely open and it wouldn't work that way. It's not laid out that way. It would look really awkward. And it just, good as she should. I think it's just been hard because of the pandemic, because when my son is in school, there's no one here, right? So I can record and not have to worry about things. But with the virus and stuff, everyone's here. So it's I'm okay. Yeah, no.
We're 41 minutes in. Did I see Jessica? Hello, Jessica. Hang on. Oh dear. I hopefully spent 16 hours in the hole. Hope your little one's doing okay. I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen. Somebody has said that the house is in her dad's name. Maybe her dad could kick her out.
I want to record here. I just my room where I record is totally fine. Honestly, I just there wasn't so much noise during the day some days because it gets chaotic. Those are the things about when you work from home and you have 2 dogs, 4 cats, and a kid and a husband. My dogs would have a panic attack if I actually left for a day. I went to the store a couple weeks ago. We don't leave the house very much right now. Usually my husband goes out. I don't really go out right now. I've gone out a few times in the last few months because we try to minimize. We try to minimize.
She's stopping because she can hear her son in the background. And he should be asleep.
Bedtime. We're tired. My son was just yelling. I don't know why. He never goes to sleep for my husband. What time is it? Why is he still awake? What time is it? It's 9 o'clock. Okay, he just is gonna go to bed now. He gets like at his limit. He yells. He gets tired. He gets very tired. Okay. So I spent a whole. So today, obviously, I had a lot of time to sit underneath the blanket. After I sat underneath the blanket, I worked out and I cleaned like the kitchen and got some laundry started and everything. But during that time, I was in the Audrey roll-off rabbit hole, and I was like mind blown at all the stuff she says that is, and all of her parenting choices that are so out of this world. Like,
Okay, now she's going to criticize Audrey Roloff's parenting, and yeah, so here we go. Get ready. Because if you think it's been boring, you are now going to start getting very angry, and I'm going to start to imagine that there's going to be very angry comments in the chat. That is fine. Just let out all your frustrations. That's what this chat's here for. I want you to know that.
I'm starting to realize why literally no fans like her, and it's because she's so like she makes really bad decisions and then she doesn't apologize for them.
Does that remind you? He's going to go to bed. I'm going to say, does that remind you of somebody? Does that remind you of somebody? Yes, happy to be home. She's still sick and breathing. He's not back to normal, but the steroids. Cool. Oh, the COVID test. Oh, anyone would crack it with the COVID test. She's talking about the roloffs. But it sounds like she's talking about herself. I wonder what KJ would think.
And then she justifies them, like with parenting or whatever her faith-based opinions that are very toxic. And she's like, she doubles down when people like approach her about her thing. So she's like convicted in the fact that like she knows everything, everything's fine. You can't tell her that she did something wrong. She doesn't apologize like ever for what she says.
Oh, who does that remind you of?
She doesn't care at all. She like acts like she knows everything. But I think I have it figured out.
She hasn't figured it out. Oh dear. She's talking about herself again. How does she do that, says Gail? Oh dear. And don't worry, she's, as I said, my doctor put me on nebulizer treatments on Friday because of COVID. Oh, that's no good, Kim. No.
So I never read the book, by the way, and I don't want to. But let me tell you something. I spent some time looking through their Instagrams today. So here's what I did today. This is how I research, if you ever want to know how I research. So today I started looking into some of the stuff with Jeremy, because Jeremy Bolo, and that's how I got to Audrey, just follow this world. They're all connected, all of them. Jeremy Bolo, his church in Los Angeles has gotten in a lot of trouble because they were not following like the social distancing guidelines. They were holding services without having against rules. And their people have been like they've been holding large things, not wearing masks, completely like not like they got into trouble with the state of California. They were getting fines. They had community spread at the church. They were telling people at the church that it wasn't a big deal. The pandemic is.
Now, interesting. I was reading again. I was doing lots of reading that there was a court one. It was deemed that was illegal for the courts for the government to say that churches couldn't meet, but they could say that they couldn't sing in church, which was interesting. That came out today. I'll find that source for you because I thought that was very interesting. I read that today. Yeah, so Instagram is how she researches, just so that you all know.
Nothing, like all they need is God. So I ended up like looking at his pastor that like runs this church, and he's like completely anti-mask or anti-pandemic. Like they're just so. This church that Jeremy is learning seminary at is so culty. It is so culty. It's Calvinist and it's a Reformationist, which is different than a fundamentalist, but it's still equally as bad in its like beliefs because it's so extreme. And I'm like reading their doctrine, and then I'm looking at who Jeremy follows, and I'm like stumbling through all these different people. And then I start noticing that then I start noticing that, you know how Jeremy and Ginger started their merch line, and it's called like Hope's Deed, and it makes literally no sense. Well, the pastor that teaches his master's in seminary courses at Grace Community Church. So his name is Stephen Lawson. He has a weekly show that's called Steadfast Hope. Okay, so Dr. Stephen Lawson has a show called Steadfast Hope, and Jeremy was golfing with him yesterday with a bunch of people wearing suits, getting all in their.
The fact that they were playing golf in suits is fine because, as I said, where we live, we don't have to wear masks when we're out. And I've just found the article some of the articles that I was reading. So let me just load it up for you so you can actually have a look. Because I decided to check out. So it says, I just googled California church COVID. California to revise indoor church gatherings after rulings. Supreme Court says California cannot ban indoor church services. Supreme Court blocks California from prohibiting indoor church services. So there you go. So when she's talking, I know that she's talking about a different area, but when she's talking about indoor church services, etc., 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 well, California just had a court case with that. So you don't have to wear we don't have to wear masks outside. So I know it wasn't on Instagram, Susan, but as I said, she rolled me up. And there was also a case in New York as well. So there's so anyway, it's there. You can actually have a look, but most of But I just was really annoyed because like she's just talking about and CNN didn't report it. Well, that's true too. Because she's going, oh, they're having church services and everything. Well, hello. There's just been a court case and a ruling that says anyway. We wear masks. We actually have to wear masks indoors, and because and masks have to be worn inside church. There are restrictions as to how many you can have at church. You have to have seating. There are special requirements. You have to have your seating, in a certain way. But we didn't have church for a long time.
Their room, none of them are wearing masks. They're all together. So Jeremy and Ginger do a really good job of like pretending like they are way more progressive than they are when like everyone they follow is like super crazy conservative and reformationist and like just it's toxic, the beliefs these people have, especially about women. Like their doctrine on women is like your job is to obey, you are not to like, you must like reject the feminist ideal, you are not to like succumb to the you know prevailing thoughts of the community that or the modern day that you work outside of the home. Your job is at home. They can't serve, they cannot hold leadership positions at the church. Oh, sorry, I had his blanket. I probably should have told you to take that. No, it was different. I had his blanket on me and he wanted his blanket. That's what it was. Okay.
She hasn't learned just minimum. No, the Reformation. No. Oh, that's right. It gets worse. Biden goes to church. It was showed on CNN. Oh. The thing that I really dislike is if somebody wants to stay home, why is that such a big thing? Why does she frown upon people because they want to stay home and raise their kids? Why is it a problem? Like, if they wanted to go out and work, they can go out and work. But why is it such a big deal? And I have big issues with this because for me, feminism is about having the freedom to choose. I can choose the career that I want. I can choose to do whatever I like, whatever I can. If I want to work, I can. If I want to stay at home, I can stay at home. But I shouldn't be looked down upon because of the choice that I make and then say that it's because of that I'm some crazy religious bin. But for me, feminism is about being able to choose and empowering the women to choose. No, yeah. So, and I really get angry with the fact that women who choose to stay at home, or even fathers choose to stay at home, are looked down upon and frowned upon, and said that they're being bound by old conventions. No, if they've chosen that, it's about choice, and that's what for me feminism is. That's my problem, and I have no problem saying to a man, I'm sorry, I can't lift this. Can you lift this? I have no problem asking them for help. But I know some women who just believe it's a sign of weakness. Just like you can have extremists in religion, I believe there can be extremist feminists. And I'm not. I just want that choice. That's right. Yes, they do, but nuns are influential in the church, yeah. Well, they do, and don't forget, a lot of them are making money from Cameo. They've got Instagram. They're earning money on YouTube. How does that's working? They are doing exactly what she's doing, the Duggar girls. No, yeah. Yeah, and some of them are midwives. Yes, in this faith do find it empowering to be at home. That's right. True. So anyway, all right. She's extremely jealous of women. Yes, that's right. If you say something about if being a mum is my number one. Yep. That's right. And for some women, that's fine. But then, like Harmony, she's studying so that when that time passes, she can work. There's lots of women that have been studying or doing stuff because kids aren't kids forever. There's lots of women that raised their children and then went out and did lots of successful careers. And that's what feminism is about, empowering the women to say, you know, you can do what you need to. No, we haven't gone through the tweets. I actually was going to forget about the tweets tonight. I really couldn't be bothered with them because this one riled me up more, Jessica, but I can. All right.
Okay, so anyways, they're like reformationists. Like women are basically to like be a, and then they're totally anti-gay. They believe that homosexuality is a choice.
There are lots of faiths that are like that as well. Let me just state that. But for some reason, we have to speak about Christians.
And they also believe that this is the craziest thing on their website. And I guess this is part of Calvinism, and I had no idea. But they believe that the only like way to repent and fully like leave sin is to die. Like they say the only true penalty like for death or for sin is death. Like the only just penalty for sin is death. Yeah. I was like, what the hell?
Okay. I was yelling at this point. What does it matter to her? Well, you'll see that she's got all her people believing her. I gotta go to Romans 6:23, which says the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus our Lord. The fact is that, and I'm not going to give you a very basic theology lesson because I like it, is that for Christians, we believe that Jesus paid that price. So, and the thing I do like about a lot of this is that the wages of sin is death, but it's only the first part. But then you've got the but. So, because sin came into the world, we're all destined to die. But Jesus came. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox because that's right. Wait till you get told. Wait till she tells you about. Wait till she tells you about. Sorry. Wait till she starts telling you about the fact that apparently it's written in the Bible that you can that polygamy. Wait till you hear that. That's correct, Kim. Correct. Anyway.
And that even stopping the sin and changing your behavior is not enough. That you will be judged at your death, and only your death will make you like wipe those sins away.
That's not what it is, KJ. But hey, you wanna spread out that narrative, then you can do that. But for someone who is an atheist, you seem to care about Christianity.
So I'm reading their doctrine. Then I'm starting to look, yeah, it says like the only just penalty for sin is death. And I'm like, is that like a fancy way of saying blood atonement? You know how like polygamists are like into blood atonement? Is that like the fancy way of doing blood atonement? That's creepy if it's true. I'm not.
Blood atonement goes back to the Old Testament and the Jews and she doesn't say might be. No, she doesn't. Because she's read their doctrine, but I'd be very, I should go and have a, but yeah. That goes back to the Jews. Anyway. Oh. Well, I can understand why she'd be prepared by that because she couldn't keep saying sorry. Do better. True. She has no aim in what the Holy Bible says. That's right. So you can see why I was yelling at this point. I was yelling. She does. She finds all her sources on Instagram. That's right. They are. They are. They're going, that's so stupid. What? You know. That's all right. I don't mind. You are too, Kim. It doesn't even make it better the second time. I can tell you now, watching it the second time. I recorded it but didn't see the end. Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it? So, whatever. China isn't Russia, and this is what that says. That freedom. Yes. Oh, well, isn't someone has said that she's without a moral compass? Without a moral compass. So, yeah, so I was really fired up at that point, and that's why I asked the question, does she have an issue with Christianity? See, it says, death, all sins, they would have issues with me without any morals at all. Stanza lemmings. Says Claire. Anyway.
Same as the same. And I don't know if it just means like in the context that like they think that like once you die, that's the only way that you can actually like be penalized for sin. They say changing your behavior doesn't matter in the eyes of God because you've already sinned. I think they believe that like some people are already predestined for heaven, and so it doesn't really matter what you do in this life because God has already determined before you were born if you're going to go to heaven or something like that. Like, and then some people just don't get to go to heaven.
All right. There is people that believe in predestination and some people that talk about that we're elect, but anyway. From let's go back to my eyes are bleeding. Oh, I tell you. Where did she get this? I don't know. Solo 7. Apparently, she said that she read the doctrines of the Roloffs Church, and this is from their doctrines. But
they have some really effed up beliefs. Like, I'm like, and they, oh my gosh, they hate Catholics. There's a whole thing about Catholicism on their website. They literally hate Catholics. And I'm like, you guys hate Catholics.
It says, I have to die because I coveted your wood in your house. What? Churches here are only allowed webcams in their congregations. Those beliefs are awful. By the way, how do they support Trump? Real work. What Bible is she getting it from? Oh, wait. She yeah, anyway.
Yes. They support Trump. They did a whole, like, they did nothing when it came to racial injustice. But when it came to the Capitol riots, you know, it was like talking about how, you know, this is what happens. You're going to tell me something. So anyways, I spent all this time reading about Jeremy's church. And I was like, this church is whack.
There you go. You've heard it from her. I've never seen the word like so much in the Bible before. So someone said, oh, I was okay until you said they support Trump. Of course they hate Catholics. Catholics offer forgiveness for sin. Guess what, Darby? So does Jesus. Just saying. Like, what are they talking about? Motion to forbid her from ever using like again, please. It's driving me nuts. She's making me cry. She has the soul lost many loves on. I know they're in heaven. This is my belief. Yep. That's why I put the question up about whether she hates Christians or she has a dislike for Christians, because like this was bad, in my opinion. She does, doesn't she? Solo 7 says, for me, it doesn't matter what you believe or what you don't believe. There should be a level of respect for us having different views, and you shouldn't talk about stuff you know nothing about. Correct. Like, and literally. So mad I can't even spell. Is she genuine the Lions? Yeah. She probably believes it didn't happen. Because she talks about the fact that people take the Bible literally.
Because everyone always wants to say that like Ginger is like, oh, she's not. She's in a worse cult, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure like the teachings of these group of people that are the Reformationists or whatever, I think it's like cult like. It's really creepy how they're into like biblical womanhood. They might let women, you know, look modern, but they're not treated modern at all. Which is like why I think that Ginger looks tired all the time. They do read the Bible, but they say that the sovereignty of the Bible is literally like, it's not the sovereignty, the sufficiency of the Bible. So you literally have to take the Bible word for word. There's no interpretation in it. You have to like, the Bible is the word. There's no interpretation to it. You have to take it for what it says. That's what they say, Bible sufficiency or scripture sufficiency. Which is weird because doesn't it say in the Bible like you're supposed to like chop off somebody's hand for stealing, and women and men can be polygamists and have like a million brides?
There you go. I've not ever. I have. So about the chopping off the arm, that's Old Testament again. But I've never ever. I don't know where it says about men and women can be polygamous and have multiple brides. I have no idea where that is. I have no idea where that is in the Bible. I don't know. Can somebody help me where that last statement comes from? Because oh boy, let's just.
But they're not treated modern at all. Which is like why I think that Ginger looks tired all the time. They do read the Bible, but they say that the sovereignty of the Bible is literally like, it's not the sovereignty, the sufficiency of the Bible. So you literally have to take the Bible word for word. There's no interpretation in it. You have to like, the Bible is the word. There's no interpretation to it. You have to take it for what it says. That's what they say, Bible sufficiency or scripture sufficiency. Which is weird because doesn't it say in the Bible that you're supposed to like chop off somebody's hand for stealing, and women and men can be polygamists and have like a million brides? So they want Bible.
Like, okay. I was really upset until she got to that point because I was really mad because, like, don't talk about scripture if you don't know what it is, and don't twist it. Don't twist it. Isn't that the maid story because someone's wife? So that's again back to Abraham. What it sounds like she's actually quoting a lot of Old Testament stuff, which is totally different to which is Old Testament's before Christ, before Jesus came, and the history of the Jews. Literally, stop saying literally, KJ. We elect you to go and debate this tweet. Oh. That's right. Well, well, don't we say that she's sort of cult-like because she has people that follow her? All right. Fortunately, she's nearly done because I've just looked at the time. But yeah, I'd never took out I do find religion fascinating. Biblical archaeology is really cool. Yeah. I'm sure she's talking about Abraham and Sarah. Or maybe I don't know. I don't know who else you'd be talking about. But, anyway. But I don't know where it says about you can have multiple wives and whatever.
Well, sufficiency, but then they negate parts of the Bible that literally don't want to deal with. Yeah, so they do like taking the Bible like verbatim. Crazy. Ginger.
So now someone says, so you can't eat shellfish and you should have slaves. That's in the Bible too. You and me both solo. 7.
Ginger Duggar. So now let me get you to Audrey. So then I'm like looking through Jeremy's stuff, and then I start looking at his different followers, and then I notice he's following Audrey and Jeremy. And I also notice that he's following all the whack jobs that Audrey and Jeremy follow, like Dale Partridge. Like, if you want to follow a big, humongous hypocrite that literally plagiarizes other people and uses other people's words as his own and then puts his name on it, like he takes somebody else's quote and slaps his name on it, that would be Dale Partridge. He literally hates women. I'm starting to believe that the men that get into these cults, because a lot of these guys are not from this. It's like they've migrated to this church. It's not because it's a newer like church.
So someone says they take the bits like they like, put it together and make up their own version, apparently. But yeah. I know there was 300 people watching. That was the scary part. It was a members only chat, solo 7. I think, yeah, I don't know what she's doing. Yes, she would lose her tongue. She's at 59. Wow. Yeah. You just can't. Well, fortunately, we're nearly done. There was only 8 people chatting right throughout. She can't get more than 300 per chat. Hey, I had, I think I got to 90 in my chat. I know that's not 300, but
So they've migrated for it, and I'm convinced the men that are drawn to this kind of belief system have got to be extremely insecure men that have a need for power and control and dominance. And I'm convinced that the type of men that want to lead in this church have got to be narcissists. And it kind of makes me feel like I'm not the only one that thinks Jeremy's kind of narcissist.
They're good. Now they're narcissists. There you go. Narcissists.
That's right. Okay. So then I end up on one day I'll do an entire video on all of Jeremy's whack beliefs because there's so many of them. But then I ended up on like Jeremy and Audrey's page, and I was like, okay. So then I start looking through their stuff, and I start noticing all the people they're following, and then I start looking at like all of the crap that they're selling, and then I'm watching their videos. Do you like how like this all starts with Ginger and Jeremy, and then I end up like watching videos of Audrey and Jeremy. And I'm looking at this from like, I'm like, okay, Audrey and Jeremy are, everyone hates Audrey. And now I know why. So she's like, first of all, they wrote this book. I did fall down the rabbit hole. So they wrote this book, The Love Letter Life, right? And it was supposed to be this like story of their love story. And it's a complete and utter dumpster fire. Like, they don't have a good marriage really at all, which makes me realize they've had so many problems in their marriage.
All right, now we're getting marriage advice with KJ. Okay, she's going to criticize them now. Open Bible. Yeah, I like using open. Yeah, as I said, I don't know where she's getting her facts from, but
That they're so committed to fixing their marriage that they want to fix other people's marriages. And I feel like if they weren't so faithful, you know what I mean? Like if they weren't so stuck in their faith, they would be divorced. Because I feel like they're so highly incompatible that they would not be together.
mirror, mirror. It says Katie loves a good rabbit hole. Oh, she's angry they love each other and want to work on their marriage. She is. She's really angry about it. That's all she's doing. That's her researching, allegedly. That's what she said. That's how she researches. A new color? Oh, okay. Possibly. Yes, that's right, Solo 7. She said they don't have a good marriage. Teal. Oh, that's interesting. Joe, I need to say this. You read, listen, and give your opinion. It's different from the poster. You are polite and disagreeing. Oh, thank you, Claire. And look, and I'm also happy to admit if I've got it wrong. I did get a message from somebody before about the laws in California. So that's all right. I haven't read it yet, but I'll read it.
Because of their faith, they feel like they have to do everything to work their things out. Because she, like, it's such a mess. Like, he admits to an addiction to adult videos and watching those while he's married, which, okay. And then Audrey makes him not have friendships with women. Audrey has, like, all these insecurity issues with him around other women.
Okay. So he had an addiction to pornography, and so to work on their marriage, they've had to put some boundaries in place. They're boundaries, KJ. They're marriage boundaries that they're working on together. I don't know what she's talking about. She's riling me up again. Well, that's right, and prove it. That's right. That's right, Jessica. Why? But there are lots of people that have had to put certain boundaries in place because of issues in marriages, and they've been successful.
And looking at images of women, and
it would be just like having alcohol in a home where an alcoholic lives. So if, for example, you were dealing with your partner was an alcoholic, you wouldn't have alcohol laying around the house. You would be doing everything to take that temptation away for them to drink. It's not rocket science. It's common sense.
like, I watch these live streams of them, and I watch him try to talk, and then all she does is interrupt him and like cuts him off, and then he literally like will fall back, and he'll be like rolling his eyes at her.
Hey, JJ. I'm sure I saw a live stream where somebody was being told to sit up all the time. Oh no, look at all her expertise. Yep. That's right. Wind whispers the toilet seat. Yes. There's no other YouTube creator who is so degrading, puts people to embarrassment, says Scar. That others are not. That's life. That's right. We would be boring. Hi, JJ.
And then they pretend like they're like so happy and in love, and I'm like, I kind of feel like they hate each other. I feel like they actually hate each other.
Now, what's really interesting is that it was Todd text her yesterday about the furnace. He didn't go and talk to her. He sent her a text message. Right, there you go. But apparently, anyway.
And I feel like this whole thing with their marriage stuff is because they're so desperate to fix their marriage. They feel like they have to work on their marriage so hard that they want to fix everyone else's marriages. So remember I was saying the other day, like, if you ever like want to spend all of your time and your energy to fix people, like usually you need to fix something in yourself. I'm like, there's got to be something to this. I think that's what I figured out. Like they have so many incompatibilities. There's jealousy, there's trust issues, there's control issues, there's personality conflicts. Like they're just.
It's just part of being a normal human being in a relationship with anybody. Pot meat kettle. Oh.
Water and vinegar. Like it's, or oil and vinegar. No, water and oil. Oil and water. They just don't mix. Yeah. Because I'm watching all of these videos and my husband's listening, right? And my husband's like, are they really spending this much time talking about marriage? And I was like, yes. And I said, in our marriage, when have we sat down and literally like, I feel like when people are struggling in their own things, they have to like fix other things, is what I was saying. So they're always like, we have to be intentional and we have to be authentic and we have to make marriage fun. And I'm like, if you have to work this hard to make your marriage work, honestly, are you married to the right person? I'm not.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's right. They are human. Yeah. Well, that's true. I wish I saw that it was studying human behavior, actually, because I tell you what, you'd have enough material just watching the live streams.
Saying that marriage is easy by any means. There are times when all marriages go through bumps in the road. But if you have to focus all of your time on energy on like my husband and I were seeing, because my husband and I have dinner together every night, and I was reading all of this stuff when I'm like eating dinner, and I'm like,
so they don't even talk. She's reading. She's on her phone while they're having dinner together. So they're not even talking.
I was like, Todd, could you imagine if we had a conversation and we had to have questions that we asked each other? If I said to you, like, how can I serve you? What can I pray for you for? What was your best part of your day? Like,
I just can't with this one. But isn't that about learning about the other person and finding out about them and saying, I care about your day?
if you're constantly talking about your marriage, wouldn't you be exhausted? My husband and I spend most of our time talking about like politics or world. Like my husband, we have a very, like I would say, a very like intellectual relationship. We're very like, we talk about world issues a lot in this house. Religion, politics, whatever's going on in the world.
You've got to have an intellectual They have a very intellectual marriage. Very intellectual. Allegedly, but that's out of her mouth.
We talk about stuff in the news a lot, but we agree on pretty much everything for the most part. So we don't spend a lot of time talking about like what can I do for you?
Someone's written here. My husband spends the most of the night trying to do the deed with me. Isn't that having a conversation with your partner? We ask each other at the end of the day, how was your day? Yes. Oh dear.
And then we have our routines, you know. It's just what did Todd say? Todd's the one that would talk about politics all day long. He's like obsessed with like all this stuff that's been going on with like the stuff with that congresswoman who's literally crazy and Trump and all that whole fallout. Like I'll watch it for a little while and then I'll have to disengage, but he is always engaged in it. Like he is very like he likes to know what's going on in the world constantly. He likes to know the status of like the current events in our government constantly. It's very important to him. Today we had a conversation about Fox News and it's losing viewers because they've lost their ability to tell the truth, I guess.
Pot, meat kettle.
Which then spiraled into which media outlets are biased. They've been married for 6 years. I have zero advice to give. Tonight's conversation led my husband and I to start talking about what animal we want on our side in a fight. That's hilarious. We talked about Audrey and Jeremy. He's hilarious too because this morning I was watching Janelle Evans has a new docuseries that came out, and he like watches my channel, so now he has opinions about Janelle Evans, and he was just like, I'm watching the video, and he was like yelling at Janelle while I'm watching it, even though he can't see it, he can hear it. He's just like, whatever, Janelle, you know, yeah, right. Such a good man.
Possibly.
So there are outlets that are not biased, that are centrist. So the centrist ones are CBS, NBC, ABC, PBS, NPR, Associated Press, Reuters, The Independent, I think. There's a whole list of them. They're the centrists, so they don't take an angle. And then if you want a liberal leaning, CNN or MSNBC, but in terms of like CNN and MSNBC being accurate in their reporting, they're very accurate because they bring in both sides, but they just do it from a Democratic perspective, I guess. I don't know. So even though they have a left lean, they still have like.
Okay, so how can you give both sides with the Democratic position? How can you give both sides with a Democratic position? Isn't that biased? We're biased.
Considered factual reporting when they do the news on their shows. That would be different. I always feel like NPR is a really good one. I feel like with NPR, if I just want to know what's going on with like literally no agenda, it's a good place. Same with the Associated Press. main ones are like Washington Post, CNN, Mother Jones. The New York Times wasn't on the list for any of them. I thought that was weird. Isn't the New York Times considered like one of the really big papers? Oh wait, yeah.
We're nearly
But
there.
the New York Times wasn't on any of them. Nor was the Wall Street Journal. Or Forbes. Oh, U.S. News and World Report. That was another one that was a centrist one. And USA Today was a centrist one. And Newsweek. And Time Magazine. Yes. I think I got them all. And Rachel Maddow is like the most watched show, I believe. I think. What is someone talking about with? Oh my gosh, yes, Newsmax is terrible. I feel like if I want like just a really, yeah.
Now, interesting here. Someone says, do you feel tonight is a quiet night to open up chat, or are you keeping it closed permanently on this channel? Because there's only like a few people talking. Wait till you hear a response and you'll find that the live stream will end rather quickly.
Your current favorite is PBS. I actually can't open chat because I'm on my phone, and once you set the chat, when you go on your phone, you can't change it. So once you set the chat parameters when you're on your phone, I can't change those parameters. It doesn't allow me to. So no. When I'm on my phone, I always do members only because I can't change after I go live. So probably not. When I'm up on a desktop version, I can change it, but not for my phone. The only way for my phone I can access is like I can look at the chat or not look at the chat, and I can share it. I can mute my microphone, and that's what it. It's pretty limited what you can do from your phone with when you're live. Oh, but no.
There's only 30 seconds left, Harmony.
So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm at an hour now. I'm tired. Thank you guys for being here. Go down the rabbit hole with Jeremy and with Audrey. We'll be spending some more time on that. And I have some more Duggar stuff coming for you soon. And yeah.
So there you go. That was it. So on that note, I'm also going to go because it's just gone past midnight. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it with that. I'm gonna leave you with that. But yeah, I know and she doesn't want people to calling her out. I know a simple yes or no would have done. Yes, I know. All right, so everyone, thank you for watching. Jessica, I might change my thumbnail, see whether I can add an extra picture in there, but we'll see, and we'll see what we can do. You can see why Todd sticks around. Well, someone's got to look after the kid, don't they? So anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I'm actually working tomorrow night, so I may not get on. So I will, if I don't get on, please forgive me. I'll be working. So anyway, have a good time. I might put something on during the day that if I'm not going to make it, I might put something on to show you during the time. I'll delay it so you've got something to watch. I will send an email. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.